9 to noon on your radio, on YouTube, X, and the iHeartRadio app. I'm Billy Schmid. Armin Sarian's right there. And John Kuhn with all of you on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. It's about dang time you joined in on that.
Well, you just leave it to you.
I've just been sitting over here trying to get the whole crowd riled up. And, thank you for that. I appreciate that, Armin. Thank you for joining in.
Well, usually I don't.
That was good. That was good.
I know everyone else is going to do it, so I let them do it. And I don't want to waste my total breath and that, because it's like if everyone else is going to do it, I'm just going to sit and wait,
Well, that's fair. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Yeah. I like that. John, what did you think of Armin's inclusion in the Coon this morning to fire us up here on a Tuesday?
I'm glad he's alive. I'm glad he's awake. Listen, this guy is marching down the last couple sands in that hourglass of just sanity. This man is about to embark on a journey that a few of us have been down already. And
true,
with Laura about to pop and Armin, about to leave, it's going to be a stretch for the guy. It's going to be a stretch. So I'm glad to see he's here. You are in actually really great spirits.
Yes.
You don't seem nervous.
I'm nervous. I can't believe you're saying that. I appreciate you saying
that.
You
don't seem like
Not
it
at all.
whatsoever.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Not at all.
I feel the exact same thing.
I appreciate you guys saying that because I feel like I know I am.
I think you're more nervous for a February Bucks game against the Clippers than it seems like you are at this exact moment, which is impressive.
You
I'm
did
nervous,
Nooner
bro.
Day. You've done 3 or 4 concerts all within the last week.
Mm-hmm.
You've gone to see multiple sporting events. I am actually blown away I'm starting to think, are you getting all these in because it's going to dry up here in a week?
Oh no, that's definitely a big part of it. I knew we had to do all these things now because it's.
You talk about
Vegas twice in the last 3 months.
Well,
Billy, take it to
what was your wedding?
Take it to the 11th hour. Yep. Why don't you, Mister? He is going hard in the streets here at the end of this thing.
I wouldn't say I'm going hard in the streets. I
For
went to Summerfest.
Armin Sarian, you're going hard in the street.
For what I do, right? That's a good level. That's a good point.
Yes.
Well, Nooner Day was an important date. We make sure that I was able to attend that and be part.
Yeah,
of
but
it.
I didn't know that you were going to grab a Long Island in the middle of the game. And then once I saw that, I said, okay.
Someone gave it to me. Okay,
now we're having a party again.
I didn't go order it for myself. Someone gave it to me. All right, So
but that was needed.
I'll have one. And we'll be good to go.
And we'll maybe have one more too.
Well,
I'll do one. Long Island.
I'll do one. I'm gonna do one.
I'm gonna have one. That's it.
I appreciate you saying that because I tell you what, the anxiety's been creeping up the last 10, 12, 14 days for me.
Have you been not sleeping then, because you're not projecting it here?
You're about to not sleep at all.
You guys are really complimenting me. Yeah, I know that. So everyone's like,
if we thought we had problems with the doc before, wait until this happens.
Now that happened.
Well, yeah, it's true. Everyone talks about the sleep you don't get when the baby comes, but they don't talk about the sleep you don't get before, anticipating it. I'm really not sleeping great, although it's not like been terrible, but it's just it's a ceaseless anxiety that's always there, right?
The interesting thing is, and John, I don't know if you had a similar experience, like the first couple of weeks, the first month or so, there's only so much you can do, right? Like there's only so much you can do where I actually felt useless, where
People say that. Yeah.
Is there anything can I get you anything? Can I, okay, sweet. I'm going to be over here. You need anything, let me know. And you're just a great aide, a great secretary, a great, to be honest, administrative assistant.
That's
because
what it is,
you're going to need everything on a timeline. And Armin, you can be the organizer in that stance. But just get the diapers, get everything organized, and just sit back and wait for her at one moment to say,
can you cook me a meal?
Can you take this one?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Can you get me some Qdoba? Can you give me a burrito or something?
Stuff, absolutely, I can go get a burrito. I'm really good at that.
I'm on that.
Like, if you give me a job I know I can do, I'll embrace that job. Like, you go get the Qdoba. I'm on that. I know exactly what you need. I know what kind of
I know the order.
I'm good to go. I'm going to make sure you get the guac
and
everything like that. Like, I'm trying to star in my role is what they say. Star in your role.
You're gonna be an absolute superstar at it. So we are counting down the moments. Yeah. We're anxiously awaiting the arrival of baby Sarian, and we don't know exactly what day it is. However, I did say goodbye to Armin yesterday by saying, John, hey, if I don't see you tomorrow, good luck. Let me know how it goes.
I feel like that'll be every day this week.
That'll probably be the send off for a while now, until it finally happens, until we bid you adieu.
I felt pretty confident it was gonna. I don't know why. But when I called Armin today at 8 for our normal show call and he didn't pick up,
what did you think?
I thought the text back was going to be, "You got Luddy today. Laura's in labor." There was just something that hit my brain. It was like, oh, this is it. I mean, because the actual due date, the 40-week due date is what? July 8th? 6th. So that's
well, we're in the launch
any
zone.
day now.
Well,
it could literally happen next segment. Armin could have to leave next segment. We'd have to call Josh back in here, who also is anxious and worrying about a baby on his side. Oh, it's a mess in this place. What is going on with the kids
that's just
97.3 The Game?
I know. So
more importantly, what was going on in December here at 97.3 The Game? November and December. That's the real question.
Packers
we went on a win streak. Packers went on a win streak.
Packers were winning, baby.
A lot of Jordan Love going on in this town.
Hey.
You can tell when the Packers are doing well based off of birth rates in the summer.
That's the power of love. I'm interested to see how many Jordans come running out here. Well, now, none in this building. Well, unless that's what you guys are naming.
Oh, so Josh has a Jordy.
Josh has a Jordy.
And he's going to have a Jordy and Jordan.
I doubt
that's a little.
I doubt it.
That might be tough.
Because it's
unless Armin's going to name their baby daughter Jordan.
Can be a girl's name. It
could be Jordan.
Yeah.
Jordy and Jordan. That would be perfect. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm assuming, and this is just me making assumptions here, that his kid's name is going to start with a J, right?
See, Josh, I kind of think so. Jordan. Yeah.
Well, they've been floating that out there, haven't they? They've been floating that out there that they want.
I don't know. You guys went to Olive Garden. You didn't get any information.
You didn't get the deets on this. You guys have a double date with Prager wives.
Wow.
And you didn't get
got nothing.
And they. Yeah, at Olive Garden.
I'm not trying to
you guys have designated drivers on the way home, and they didn't talk at all about baby names.
No, they did. I'm sure, but I'm not sure what things you know how it is. What information is proprietary and which isn't, and that's But
did they talk about it?
No, I'm pretty sure they have publicly talked about thinking about J names. I just don't know.
Do you not remember dinner at all? It sounds like. Did you get schmammered at this dinner because you had a driver?
No, we went in there.
Had a whole bottle of wine. He's really living it up.
Did they not talk about names?
No, we of course discussed names, but there was no sort of decision process.
What names did you say? What names did you say?
No, he doesn't want to say anything because he knows he's going to let slip the name that he's been trying to hold down for the last
name. I know our name. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, Josh's name. I don't think they've decided yet. Honestly,
what's your baby's name?
I'm not saying that. You think I'm that stupid? I'm not getting in trouble like that. You think I'm getting that?
I've been trying so hard, John. I've been trying so hard.
You know she's even listening.
Yeah, she's listening. I know she's listening. She likes to listen when she can.
We found that out. We found that out from the concert day more than anything. When we found out that Laura likes to listen.
If work's not too busy, she'll listen. You know who wants to know before everybody's my dad. And it's not that my dad just wants to know.
Told your dad?
He wants input in it. That's what he told us. He wants input. He wants input.
What does your dad want the baby's name to be?
I don't know. He hasn't.
Leon 414-799-1970.
Probably he wants it to be Leo.
Probably a very ancient traditional Armenian name, like something from the antiquity, like from the old kingdoms, like from the 1500s, or from 2,000 years ago. Because Armenian has a
could
Armenian
Leo
has a long
be
history.
A middle name? Could Leo be a middle name for
a girl?
Leah,
maybe. I mean, Leo's not a girl's name. I mean, I don't think it is.
I said middle name.
Yeah, middle name.
Yeah.
Pull it off.
Leon.
It doesn't sound like that's happening.
Leona.
Sounds like Leon's gonna have to wait for the second one.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see.
Well, listen, we're proud of you. We're excited. And if during one of the commercial breaks, you want to just let us know.
I'm not telling anybody this girl's name.
We're not gonna be here.
I can see it right now. Dua Lipa. Sorry.
You can't get mad. You can't get Schneidman all that.
Yeah, it's like that's good. Yeah, that'd be like a tribute to Schneidman or what? Dua Lipa.
It could be.
Yeah.
Or just maybe one of your favorite singers. Or it could be Cher Sarian. That would be an ode to a famous
Armenian.
Right? Armenian.
Sherilyn, of course, is the full name. Sherilyn. That's her full name.
Obviously.
So that's what we're going. That's what we're going with her.
Yeah, Sherilyn Sarian.
Sherilyn. So it will be. I'm gonna name my daughter after Cher. So
that's awesome. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
If I was really going to do that, I wouldn't have said that. So think about that. What's that, John?
There's no way you're pulling the underwear over our eyes like that. You trying to say, oh, no, I'm going to ropey dope. I accidentally said it. Now I'm going to cushion it. No chance. Sorry, John. Go ahead.
No, I think Armin I think naming can you at least, if you're not going to tell us the name, can you just tell us, is there some story behind it? Is it a link? Is it a link to your lineage? Is it a link to a celebrity? Is it, why is it a link to Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce? Well, why?
The story is really just that we both like the name. That's the only story. We both agreed on the name. That's the entire story I'm given right now.
Okay. So
that's the entire story.
That's the only story.
So but that's not. But that doesn't sound like it's true. No, it sounds right now like you have a story behind the name.
There isn't just like the name. It's not like a story. There's no other story. I don't believe. Or there might be.
It's funny
because people are everything I say. People are gonna try and guess this name, including my father.
He's already trying right now.
So can you not Okay, so you can't tell us really the story behind this name. Okay, so I get it.
Well, I can't tell you even if there is or isn't a story, other than we both like the name.
Which means there is. Because if there isn't, why would you ever say I can't tell you if there is or if there isn't?
Well, that's what you think.
There's absolutely a story behind it, and I'm glad you and Laura are keeping it. Yes, I am. I can see right through your soul right now. I know there's a story behind it. I know there's a story behind it, and I'm happy that you guys are able to keep it a secret. Now, I'm going to warn you.
Yes.
I'm going to warn you.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
There was a story, somewhat of a story behind our first daughter's middle name, Marie, which was after her great-grandmother, Mary.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that.
But daughter number 2 didn't get that gift, didn't get that. So it's how did you name me, Daddy?
Yeah, right. She
because Lily and Grace sounds awesome. Like it just sounds awesome.
Love that name.
No story? No. Be prepared for that. So when number 2 rolls around, you're going to have a story just like you had a story for number 1. But I'm sure you got enough family members bidding for names.
A lot going on.
Your children.
A lot of people invested in it. A lot of people invested emotionally in it, no doubt about it.
Oh, many people are invested already on the talk and text line.
My favorite thing about Billy Carson's middle name is it's not what I thought it was, because Mike Heller would just say
Mike just thinks that it's Michael and wants it to be Michael, so he says that Carson's middle name is Michael, but it's not.
I always thought it kind of was, because he kept saying it confidently.
Says it with some good conviction.
Yeah,
makes you believe like he knows some insider training. No, doesn't. Sushi in the Pulse. Josh leaked your first pitch. Now leak his child's name.
Josh doesn't know. That's the problem with leaking it.
No, but it sounds like you know.
No, you know his child's name.
Oh, I really don't. I don't think they've decided. I'm 100% honest. I really don't think they've decided yet. And they talk about it a little more openly than we have. I'm pretty sure they even have. Honestly, I don't even have an
I will say after John, I was able to trick Armin into telling me the gender of the baby. I was pretty convinced I was going to these next 5 months trick him into telling me the name of the baby. I'm really proud that you haven't cracked.
When did you guys decide name? Like decide firm,
good question.
Validated. We're not going back.
2 weeks before we ended up having them.
We decided months ago. I mean, really. Now, my sister's 2 daughters, took them a while to decide. The baby was born, they still hadn't. But Laura and I had a name because we had been talking about names. So I think we had this name picked out months ago.
Did you ever have to go to the baby book for the names?
Oh, you did a lot of Googling, a lot of baby book, a lot of lists you're looking through.
There's so many of the same names, just all spelled different.
But hold on, no, that's what Laura does. What did you do in the process?
Same thing. I was.
You were Googling for ideas.
Googling. You
bought a book down at the local library. You rented a book. You took it out.
Well, no, Dewey Decimal System. Go on the internet now. You know what I mean? You can go on the internet now, unless you're looking for like an Armenian baby book. That's hard to find.
And that's what I would.
But you can Google Armenian
I'm
baby
expecting
names.
An absolute Armenian goddess name here.
Like Akhvani? Oh,
something with that K in the back of your throat.
Like Akhtamad, like the Armenian goddess or something.
I am seeing that in our near future.
But here's the thing: you have to think about.
Are you going to wait till you come back on air to tell us the name, or are you going to at least share us the name and a text?
I'll probably text it to you guys, and then I'll release it on Twitter.
Okay.
And then once I get authorized,
so make sure that you're notifying.
But official press release on Twitter.
I might want to put
Akhbani Leona Sarian.
Benny Akhbayani. No, Akhbani.
Well, some people are asking if Agassi is going to be a part of it.
Well, Agassi, because of the tennis, thing. No, probably not. It's not really a girl's name, is it?
Well, with that attitude.
I guess you're right. It could be anything be a girl's name. Anything be anybody's name. Yeah. All names are chosen eventually at some point.
I don't know why you're putting limits on people's names.
I really should just release it on Twitter first to test you to see if you guys have alerts.
That would be super rude. I'll be super pissed.
I would be really upset if that was the case.
So mad. Well, I'm going to wait for the Steve Zabin show to tell me if it's a boy or girl.
Wait to tell us on Sunday.
I know. I haven't. I'm not really clear of that yet. Right? Mm-hmm. I released that on.
I'm excited for your appearance on Zabin's show the morning you do release the baby's name.
You're definitely getting called. Hey,
8:35.
Can we fit you in the 7:30 block, please?
I'm going to sell myself to go on different podcasts.
Josh is on a campaign to get as many guests as possible on the shows.
Right?
You need to help him.
Fit me in, please. No, I'm gonna go on Club Shay Shay or one of these podcasts to do it. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna shop myself around. I'm gonna right Huck to a girl and make sure I'm on the right podcast to release the name.
Well, Joe from Stoughton said that you should sell the naming rights. You could just go like full college conferences and just sell it to Allstate or Palermo's.
That's kind of a pretty name, Palermo.
Or Connie's. Connie.
Right?
I mean, that's your favorite Palermo's pie.
Yeah, I love.
So you think about that one. Find that one.
Screaming Sicilian Sarian. Why not?
We love alliteration in this town.
Screaming, come over here. Screaming, come over here. What did I tell you about playing in the dirt? I guess playing in the dirt.
You're not going to let your daughter play in the dirt.
I don't mind the dirt. Well,
you and Laura will not let your first child play in the dirt. I guarantee you.
Why? You got
those fingernails. She will never have anything but clear fingernails. She'll never have dirt on her.
I want her to be able to play in the backyard.
No, that baby is going to be so nurtured.
Oh yeah,
that baby is going to be so smothered with love and holding,
and not letting you go outside
and
the
really
block.
Soft tosses up in the air about 3 inches because you don't trust 4.
Oh, absolutely. I get nervous when I see some of these guys throw them way up in the air. I'm like, don't do it.
If you'd have seen how high I was throwing Lily when she was younger, I mean, it was 8 feet in the air.
Was anyone like nervous? Was your wife nervous? Like any of that stuff? Not really.
I think she was
probably
freaking out on the inside.
Yeah,
sure.
Held it together really nicely though. 414-799-1973, NicoletLaw.com talking text line.
No, Dad, I've seen the book. My dad goes, I had that book. I know, I've seen it. I know, I've read it.
Did you read it or did you just glance at it?
Well, I've read it, but you can look at a lot of.
Because I got yelled at for that.
Did
you read any of the books? I glanced at them.
No, I didn't read any books. In fact, for the names, I didn't even think about names. My wife was in this name
zone
for months. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about? Nice. It's nice.
Yes.
And then finally one day we sit down at Hinterland to eat some dinner, and she's like, "We really got to come up with the name." I said, "All right, what about Elle and Marie?"
That's good.
Yeah, I think I like it. Do you want to do that?
That's why I said it. Yeah.
Okay. So that was it. We went like 7 months of trial and error out of her and me saying, that's nice. And then we sat down in 5 minutes, picked one.
I got 3 vetoes and I only ended up using one, but as a teacher, so like she had so many names that were already off the books. I just had to put the stop down to Grayson. This was going to be Grayson Andrew. It was going to make me think of Grayson Allen shooting for the Phoenix Suns.
That was tough for you.
That was going to be really, really tough. I couldn't let my young son be,
did it make you think
feeling like a Duke boy having a sweater tied around his neck?
Did it make you think of Grayson Boucher, the professor? John knows that reference. N1, right? The N1 mixtape tour, the professor.
Oh, the professor.
I would never have thought that was his first name.
Grayson, yeah.
I never would have guessed that. I had no clue. Armin, you got me on that. I was drawing a complete blank.
Yeah. He goes on YouTube now and he's like a YouTube content creator, goes to different public parks and hustles guys for money still.
God, that's
but
awesome.
Now people know him, so it's kind of hard,
And the internet is a beautiful place. And so is the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. You can interact with us all day. 414-799-1973. Hey, why do we stink at soccer? What happened last night?
Good question.
Somebody needs to explain it to us.
It's our farm system.
Could be. It was something. And apparently the officials were a big issue for one member of the U.S. national team and one member of the commentating team. I said that maybe we were better back in the day. We'll get into some of that before Trey Crosby joins us. We'll talk some NBA free agency as day number 2 saw the Splash Brothers officially split. And the Celtics are up for sale. This news broke while we were on with Mike Heller yesterday. Fascinating parts of it. And oh, by the way, we found out where Aaron Rodgers was. We'll let you know. And is it acceptable? Because Mike Florio feels it's got the fingerprints of the New York Jets all over it. We'll discuss that coming up. It's 9 to noon. Kuhn, Billy, and Armin just getting started on a beautiful Tuesday on this holiday week. It's 9 to noon on the Game.
This is the worst read I've ever seen in my life. John Kuhn here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, and it's time for a good Wisconsin dad joke. You ready for this? How do mice floss their teeth? With string cheese. Okay, now time for a window dad joke. What do you need in order to cook in a sunny kitchen? Shade and bake. I can't help, but my mind is on windows and doors. Thanks to this incredible deal going on at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. Pay as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door. What the fuck did it? No, I'm trying to. They got fucking placeholders and shit written in here. Imagine getting beautiful windows and patio doors for as little as that. And Pella completes installation with no mess and no hassle, leaving nothing but their perfect results. Again, get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door this month at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. You got to hurry, though. The offer ends July 31st. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. And please let Gina Della know that John Kuhn sent you. Yep. Again, get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door this month at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. But you have to hurry. This deal ends July 31st. Again, get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door this month at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. But you have to hurry. This deal is only good until July 31st. And please, tell Gina Della that John Kuhn sent you. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Well, we finally got it during the break. We got the name.
Yeah.
Terry Johnson-Sarian.
Terry Johnson.
There you go.
Back up, Terry.
Back up, Terry. What you doing, Terry? I gotta find that.
What you doing, Terry?
I only got one day to find that clip. I gotta get that clip. It's about to be played 100 times for 4th of July.
My favorite clip. And also could be thrown in for former Buck Cameron Payne.
Oh, yeah?
Terry Johnson.
Uh-oh.
That was the name that Cameron Payne, NBA vet, who was placed in handcuffs and thrown behind bars last month, reportedly used to give officers when he didn't want to give his real name in a police investigation after he dialed 911.
Jeez.
TMZ Sports says, at least officers saying, according to a Scottsdale police report obtained by TMZ, fellas, Payne called the cops at 2:44 a.m. on June 14th after getting into an argument with his girlfriend in Arizona. But the cops say when officers arrived on the scene, him and his girlfriend told them police services were no longer desired as their quarrel was merely a verbal one. And they had calmed the situation. Officers wrote in the docs that all they needed to do was wrap up the investigation was Payne's name and date of birth. That's when the Philadelphia 76ers guards stopped cooperating. They said for minutes, Payne would not tell them who he was, insisting that his name was actually Terry Johnson.
Well, Terry Johnson is that's what he was trying to come up with a name, and he came up with Terry Johnson.
When they told him they believed he was lying and would arrest him, he continued to be dishonest, and he told them, "That's fine. You want to arrest me for saying a fake name? You can do it. Congratulations." So they did.
I dare you. Dare accepted.
He
double dog daring the police doesn't necessarily work all that well.
I'm not sure that.
What are you doing, Terry?
At one point, police wrote Payne did provide them his real name, but told them seconds later, "No, that's my fake name. Can you please leave?" No, we can't. We will in a minute. That is a July story, because this really does turn into TMZ's biggest reporting day. Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, Tom Pelissero and company for the NFL all kind of take a back seat. Now this one's in the NBA, but this is when teams just hope they don't see a player's name in the news. Or maybe they do. Maybe they do want to see what finally is the story with Aaron Rodgers, because Connor Hughes got that from the at SNY, John, yesterday, put out that we finally know where Aaron Rodgers was. He was not in Colombia. He was not in Peru. He was in Egypt for a trip that he had planned long ago. The New York Jets, as Mike Florio believes, through Connor Hughes of SNY, are allowing everybody to know that it came when Aaron Rodgers pieced together the trip. This from Connor Hughes reporting during his recovery process from his Achilles injury. It gave him something to look forward to during one of the lowest points of his career. He's long admired Egyptian culture and scheduled the visit for what he believed to be after the offseason program. This is where Mike Florio, John, doesn't believe. He said, hang on a second. Guy played in the NFL since 2005. He knows the offseason calendar. He knows that mandatory mini camps happen in the first 2 weeks of June. Last year, Rodgers was with the New York Jets. Mandatory mini camp happened from June 13th to June 15th. In 2022, his last season in Green Bay, the Packers held their mini camp from June 7th to June 9th. In 2021, it was June 15th to June 17th. There was no offseason program in 2020. In 2019, the Packers held mandatory mini camp from June 11th to June 13th. In 2018, from June 12th to June 14th.
Boy, he had receipts, huh?
Did his homework.
Jeez.
Came back with the receipts. So apparently Egypt and just fond of the Egyptian culture is where Aaron was, not at mandatory minicamp.
So there you go, Egypt. Who had Egypt on their bingo card?
I don't know that anybody did.
People thought Peru. Some people thought, a golf trip maybe or something like that. But Egypt, which I think would be a nice place to visit. I've never been. Pyramids. The Sphinx.
That's where you're going with this?
Well, I don't know. I just thought maybe.
Where would you be going with it, John, as his former teammate and friend?
Do you believe it? Do you believe that it was a trip to Egypt? Do you believe?
Oh, you think he wasn't even there? Maybe.
Do you believe it was a trip to Egypt? Do you believe that he thought he was going to be off? Do you think he just didn't give a rip? I mean, when you're scheduling these vacations for your off time, you reach out to somebody on the team and you say, hey, is such and such date a good time, or are we going to have practices? And then they generally send back one of three things: yes, no, or
let's talk about
we don't know yet. Right. And if he did ask and somebody said, yes, that's a good time, and then he books it and they're like, oh shoot, well, that was actually when we have to book mandatory minicamp, so it's not great timing. Well, too bad, I already booked my trip. Okay, I can kind of understand that one. If it was no, we're going to have mandatory minicamp, then I think it's reckless. I think it's, again, it's just passive aggressive. And then if you don't know and you book it and it turns out that that's going to be the week, it's like, well, you couldn't buy yourself one more week. I mean, you have 6 weeks off.
We got plenty of time off.
Well, that's the question.
I don't love this. And honestly, I don't care about it anymore. To me, a couple weeks ago, it was, man, this is a damn shame, because, there have been times where I've supported Aaron Rodgers in his chase for building his legacy and taking a second team to a deep playoff run to the Super Bowl. Like, they're in the AFC. I can root for them. Yeah. I want to see him, I think it would be a shame for Aaron Rodgers to be one of those quarterbacks that is a one and done. One Super Bowl and done, never makes it back again, because I think he's a special talent. I think it'll get lost, just the greatness that he had that we got to watch for so many years.
Oh, sure.
If he only goes to one Super Bowl. I do. I think it's almost a talent lost, and unfortunate for us that maybe we take it for granted. But when you're missing mandatory stuff, I mean, and yes,
you're not helping yourself.
Now. You don't play football now, but it just doesn't feel like you're all in. You just don't feel like it. So that's why I feel the way I do.
It's also very hypocritical when you do 2 months before say we need to get all the stuff that's not about winning out of the building, right? Like that's just the biggest part of it. As somebody that has, admittedly so, caped up for Aaron at most instances, I found this one just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. The other part of it is, though, and this is where people will think I'm caping up for Rodgers, I just think the Jets have botched this at pretty much every step. Like, there could have just been, hey man, misunderstanding, it's excused. They clearly didn't want it to be excused. Robert Saleh clearly was somewhat miffed about it, but now,
unless he didn't communicate or changed his mind. I mean, it's possible during the rehab, like it was a tough moment in the surgery. Aaron, what's up, man? We're with you. And he's like, I'd really like to do something after my rehab's done to look forward to it. Maybe at some point someone made a mention or made it clear or made an inference that it might be okay for him to miss. And then all of a sudden he goes out and says, this is unexcused, everybody.
But the funny part is, I actually agree with Armin. I think somewhere along the lines, there's some rules, there's some guidelines, like you can't miss mandatory minicamp and have it be excused unless it's, unfortunately, a death or a wedding or, a number of certain things. And the NFL would do something like that in order to hold precedent so that teams couldn't just excuse their entire team from making mandatory minicamp. Okay, guys, hey, Kansas City Chiefs, we're good enough. We don't really need mandatory minicamp. You guys all go home.
Matt LaFleur told 3 guys on their team to go home. You guys already reached your status. You already had enough time on the field to get your workout bonus. Don't worry about it. They're the same kind of practices.
So then you have to assume, if that's the case, then you have to assume the Jets actually did not know. The Jets did not know he was going to take vacation until it was right before the vacation. And then they found out and they said, no.
Yeah. No. Or we don't, or it could be like misinterpretation of words. We know how Rodgers can shake things up with words and stuff. What if Woody Johnson told him, whatever you need to do to get back, you just take your time. Whatever you need to get right physically, mentally, you do your rehab and we'll be fine. You just do what you need to do. What if the owner
Jets have said this was unexcused?
Right. That's what Saleh said, right? What if there was some miscommunication there between ownership? I'm just saying these things are possible.
It also wasn't a story until now they decided that they have to let Connor Hughes know, hey, by the way, we don't care about it. It's okay. It's all good. No one was talking about it. You're the only ones that have brought this back up again, which is another reason why I see a instance where they decided that they've made a bigger deal about it than not. Maybe it's because Robert Saleh, it is a bigger deal to Robert Saleh. but he doesn't want to let it know. And now he knows that he said it publicly. So Aaron's going to come to the press conference opening day of training camp and be like, yeah, well, would have liked to keep that private conversation private. Or like now he already seems like he knows he's going to have to answer for it. And he continually is trying to backtrack on it. I know they're going to be good theater this year.
Absolutely.
I appreciate them helping us in finding ways to laugh at what's happening because they keep talking about themselves. This was a non-story, like John said, 2 weeks ago is when it was. And now they just brought it up 3 weeks before training camp when no one's talking about the NFL.
I just can't help but actually think there is beef somewhere inside that building. There is. As much as they want to say, we got to figure it out. This you can't botch this unless there are actual toes stepped on.
Unless people are upset, John. Yes.
There has to be some beef somewhere with the organization and Aaron Rodgers, or the coaching staff and the organization, or the coaching staff and Aaron Rodgers. Like somewhere within this whole thing, there is somebody that's like, wait, this guy is got more power than me. What? It just feels that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it feels like Robert Saleh is trying to take a little something back after he was the one sitting on the sidelines during Hard Knocks last year. It's just amazing that he's our quarterback.
Do you think people care?
Isn't it amazing that he's ours?
Yes,
he's ours.
He loves to do that.
Just fawning on him. Now it's like, wait, now it's not maybe as good as I thought it was.
And you think people care that it now? How do you think people feel? The public opinion is that it was just a trip to Egypt to see pyramids or culture or whatever, and not something that they would deem weird, right? Like an ayahuasca trip. Or
going to see the pyramids.
Trip. It's a big vacation, but it's not unusual.
I mean,
it's not darkroom stuff. It's not.
You don't know if
he
was
still on the weird
if
path.
He was drinking Egyptian ayahuasca.
I'm sure he was talking to like elders and things like that, and having like holistic.
Brought some happy place hemp with him.
What are elders?
I don't know. I don't know. I should know more about Egyptian culture and what the
those guys. Yep.
All of them.
414-799-1973.
What the important elders do.
It's all good. It's all good, Robert. Hey, Saleh.
The ceremonies.
There you go.
What the ceremonies are. I don't know.
414-799-1973. That's the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. Trey Crosby's going to hop on it in about 20 minutes from right now. Talk about some NBA news that broke yesterday. Spider Mitchell staying. People in Cleveland fired up. Maybe us in a small market should be happier for Cleveland. And the end of an era in the NBA with the Splash Brothers finally done. We'll discuss before our guy Trey Crosby stops by. And Pat Murphy getting closer and closer to that threshold of ejections that John Kuhn set earlier on. We'll discuss this one coming up. It's 9 to noon on the Game. 9 to noon on the game. Billy Schmid, John Kuhn, Armin Sarian with you on the NicoletLaw.com talking text line. It's 414-799-1973. Trey Crosby going to join in a couple of moments from right now. Discuss the NBA offseason as it is fully in the swing. And this morning, Donovan Mitchell, John's guy, locks in 3 years, $151.3 million. Add in that extra $300,000 because it is vital to the operation. $50 million. Now, many people in Cleveland, John, are saying this is the biggest move that the organization has done, biggest signing they've gotten since 2014 when LeBron James decided to sign back with the Cleveland Cavaliers after going to the Miami Heat. I don't know a whole lot of Cavs history. I do know that for a small market team to keep their superstar on an extension, I'm happy for them. I am happy for the Cleveland Cavaliers that they at least get to keep him and not just get bullied into having to trade him to Brooklyn or New York or any other big market that potentially would end up happening like we've seen in the NBA.
Yeah, I agree with you there, right? When we talk about parity in sports and we think it's the best part of what makes the NFL and a lot of fun, you've lost that in baseball, right? We don't have that necessarily in baseball the way, a salary cap or projected salary cap payments would like
a even playing field of finances.
Exactly. And the NBA feels like it potentially leans in that direction, but they have changed some things with these new aprons that they have, which makes it a lot easier for mid-market teams to be able to keep their superstars. And when you get one, you want to keep one. And the Bucks have done that with Giannis. They have gotten one in Dame, which is, who really saw that happening as well. And now Cleveland, not only a trade for Donovan Mitchell, but an extension as well. It makes it happen. And that is the goodness in sports. That will make the NBA more watchable. That'll make the NBA have more parity. That'll make the NBA and the Eastern Conference a little bit more exciting week in and week out as you get however many games against these teams and you get to see a superstar again more times.
Well, I think it also grows fans in those markets, right, that can cheer for the same guy over the years, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot of people complain about college.
They also gave up a lot for Mitchell. Like if they would have had to trade him or he would have went and tried to sign elsewhere,
it would have felt like a loss, right?
It would have felt like a net loss, yeah.
So, and then like in college sports, a lot of people lament NIL and transfer portal because it's hard to attach yourself to individuals over time. It already was hard, right? Because college is transient with 4 years and, if you're going to pro early and stuff like that. But I think in that sense, it's better. And that's what the Bird Rights were always designed to do, is to give the hometown team a chance to sign their guy first or to get, with more advantage to give more money. So, yeah, it's good to see that he signed with them. And, we talk about Giannis doing that in Milwaukee. I think you got to give props as well to Middleton re-signing all those years. I mean, Giannis overshadows Middleton because of his greatness, but Middleton in his own right has been a legit star in Milwaukee for a long time. Sure. And he's been a consistent guy and he stayed here as well. So I think that always gets lost in the shuffle.
Well, they were going to be able to pay him more too.
And the last little piece of that is with the home team being able to pay a little bit more money, it opens the door up, kind of like the NFL has with compensatory picks for a sign and trade, so that you can get assets on the back end of a superstar that might not want to stay in your smaller market. He might want to go to a bigger market. And with that, the bigger market still has to give up some assets, even with the sign and trade contract that they would have. And then that way, these middle market teams or these smaller market teams have an opportunity to get something out of their assets without just losing them to free agency.
You mentioned the aprons, John, and it is, it's really starting to be a focal point of the conversation in the offseason parts, because like the Celtics yesterday, when Wick,
I'd be lying if I said I fully understand it, Billy.
Don't either.
It's hard.
I don't.
But what it is, the only thing that I understand about it is once you get to the second apron, it's about as close to a hard cap as you can get. You're unable to take in money. You're really unable to sign much more than anything, right? Like even the DeLon Wright signing for the Bucks yesterday, it would have to be their taxpayer mid-level exception at $3.3 million because it's over the base salary, which is $3 million, or the vet minimum. So like all it ends up doing is taxing teams, owners paying exorbitant prices on the taxed money for repeater taxes and such. And I also think We're starting to see it. You saw it with Boston yesterday after they signed $314 million for Jason Tatum, $125 million for Derek White.
Yeah.
Or Derek White, pardon me. Jaylen Brown's contract extension kicks in. Drew Holiday just got extended. They can extend Porzingis next year for like $200 million.
That's crazy, yeah.
All these owners are looking at it saying,
no thanks. Right.
I'm not paying that tax money. Because when all of us look at it and say, dude, it's not my money. Why does my team not want to win? Why are we not paying the tax? It's just tax. It's just money. These owners are saying, yeah, but it's my money. And I'm not trying to pay that part of the money. We're going to see a little bit of a change here, I think, in how the financials potentially go if there comes some pushback, because the second apron thing is pretty real.
Yeah, it can't go exponentially up there forever. I always agree with you, Billy. There's going to be a cap to what it is, either like just de facto.
How the Warriors were paying like $270 million before this second apron came in.
And as rich as some owners are, they're not all unilateral. Like the Boston's trying to the Boston ownership group.
Yeah, which like, hey guys, I ain't paying that tax every year.
And there's 14 investors too that have a say in it that might say, listen, this is cutting into our profit share as well. Mm-hmm. So that's if it's one guy, if it's Ballmer and all, it's one thing if it's just one unilateral owner, but it's often not anymore. They're groups of investors. So,
but there was also one guy that decided to come and get a majority stakeholder. He can still control basketball operations. That's Mark Cuban, one of the most famous owners in the league. Decided last year, hey guys, this money's getting a little crazy. I'm going to sell my majority stake. It doesn't speak very highly to me for the overall health going forward. But we're excited to talk more about it coming up with Trey Crosby on your T's and Q's on the other side of this break. Hour number 2. What can the Bucks do? How could they improve? And will we see an exit of a Brook Lopez, a Bobby Portis, a Pat Connaughton, or others? Trey Crosby will let us know on the other side. It's 9 to noon on the Game. Hey guys, Underdog Fantasy is a place where players right now, people just like you and me, are making money making picks on the Underdog Fantasy app. Thanks to the MLB Pick'em game at Underdog Fantasy, where you just pick between 2 to 8 players on any team that you want, select higher or lower on those player stats, and if your picks are correct, you can win up to 325 times your money in a single night. You can have strikeouts, hits, home runs, or scorch statistics, which multiply your odds. Super fun and even easier to follow along with the game if you can't be in front of the TV, because you'll know the score. You'll know if your player is coming up to bat or if your guy's on the mound getting a strikeout or two. Underdog Fantasy app is super easy to play, really easy to follow, and even easier to get started. You can also go to UnderdogFantasy.com if that's easier for you, but the mobile app, best way to go. Sign up with promo code Billy, BILLY. Underdog will give you a mystery special pick to use on your first pick'em entry and a deposit offer. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Billy, to claim your new customer special of a mystery player pick and a deposit offer. Must be 18 plus and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. 9 to noon on the game, hour 2 on this Tuesday. As many Tuesdays throughout the basketball season, we hang out with our guy Trey Crosby of On Your T's and Q's Saturday mornings right here on the game. And Trey, last week NBA draft, this week NBA free agency, which for a number of years was like the most interesting part of the season, especially if you compare it just to the regular season. Then postseason obviously will trump it, but there were so many moves, so much movement, maybe toned down a little bit, but we saw quite a bit of it the last couple of days. We'll start though a week ago with the selections for the Milwaukee Bucks. They grab AJ Johnson, Tyler Smith. They'll both be introduced here today alongside John Horst and company at a press conference coming up in a matter of moments. But they take big swings, and then people online were frustrated. I kind of liked it. I still feel like you have to take the biggest swings in this market. What was your overall view of what Horst and company decided to do a week ago and go very, very young with some of their picks?
Well, it didn't make any sense, especially when your first round pick is AJ Johnson. Now, again, I wasn't as upset with the second round guy in Tyler Smith, but when you have the 23rd pick, Terrence Shannon Jr. still on the board, Ryan Dunn still on the board. I understand that Denver, jumps up in front of you and grabs Deron Holmes. There's some talk about maybe that he had a promise from Denver. Maybe Denver felt some pressure, which is why they jumped in front of the Bucks. I can't remember who they traded with, but they got in front of the Bucks to go get Deron Holmes out of Dayton. But this one to me doesn't make sense. And I'm totally with you. You swing for the fence, and and that's fine. But you're in a win now year. Like it's one thing. We talk about swinging for the fences. Like that makes sense back in 2014 or whatever the year was when the Bucks drafted at in the 15th selection. They select Giannis Antetokounmpo, little known outside of Greece, and that's a swing for the fence. That makes sense. Your team isn't good anyway. There are no expectations. You bring in a guy like Giannis, see what happens. Oh man, in 4 or 5 years, he turns into what you see Giannis as today. The issue now is you didn't need a home run. You don't need to knock anything out of the park. You need a single. Like you're not that far away from you're competing right now for championships. Why are you swinging for the fences? Like you need to get something on the ground. You need to get somebody that can help you yesterday. Like that's the problem. And I get it. They do get more athletic. And so, I mean, for those reasons, I like to pick that he's athletic and he can basically they got a guy who can run and jump. Like that's what they got. They got a guy that can run and jump and can't do much outside. If you look at his shooting splits, I mean, my God. I mean, I don't know who couldn't shoot. He shot 30% from three. He shot like 37% from the field. And you thought Giannis has issues hitting free throws. This kid shoots 54% from the free throw line. Limited time in the league he was in Australia. But I'll just say this, and I offer one more thing. The pick didn't make sense for where it was. And I have nothing against AJ Johnson because, again, I hope that he has a ton of success. I just don't know anything about him outside of what he provided on the floor and the numbers that we see, which aren't good. And here's the only other thing I'll offer up as well about John Horst. And this is just a gut feeling, just my thoughts. And I said this the other day on RTQs on Saturday. I think that John Horst has missed on so many picks and has made so many missteps draft-wise. And granted, give him some credit because he hasn't had a lot of first early round picks. But the ones he's had, he hasn't really hit on. Or if they've hit, they're not in Milwaukee anymore. But I think he's made so many missteps that he decided, you know what? I'm going to take the pressure off myself this year. I'm going to make a swing for the fences, and nobody can even expect him to compete this year. And so there's no pressure on me. Sure, and 3-4 years down the line is when you can evaluate this draft pick. I think that's what he went for, and I don't think that's the right move when you're in a win-now team. People talking about leaving guys. Look at everybody else, and he's getting better. It was perplexing, and I don't think anybody expected the Bucks to do that, and it was a little bit underwhelming when you finally have a 23 pick, picked in the top 23, and that's what you do with it. It was definitely underwhelming to say the least.
So Trey, I am curious though, wasn't the entire draft underwhelming? What could they have done?
Well, Terrence Shannon Jr. from Illinois is right. If you wanted a guard, they can come in and step in and help you right now. Terrence Shannon Jr. is right there. Ryan Dunn, another player out of Virginia who, again, has some issues offensively, kind of reminds you of Andre Jackson Jr. But Ryan Dunn, I think from the scouts, people you talk to, They think Ryan Dunn could come in right now and be an elite defender in the NBA. Now, again, the question is about what his offensive game does. His offensive game is very bad. You saw some of that if you watched the tournament, you watched Virginia play. But those are two guys right there. I think Terrence Jr. is going to be a guy that can come in and play. And I think that's where you're going with this. Even at 33, and like I said, I like the other kid, Tyler Smith, and I think we'll see what he can do. But I know a lot of people talk about Tyler Kolek. I think Tyler Kolek at 23 would have been a little rich for my blood. But Tyler Kolek, I believe, in his comp is going to be, like I've always said, his comp to me is T.J. McConnell. But I think Tyler Kolek can come in and do some things. Like, my issue with the pick is, and again, I agree, a lot of the draft was underwhelming. I totally agree with you. But there are a few guys who are going to come in and be able to play and be able to help a team as soon as they get there. And I think that there are going to be some guys that came after the Bucks picked at 23 that are going to be able to come in and help a team. And that's where I'm going with it. You needed somebody to come in and help you now. And I think that and again, here's the thing, John, if that's where you're going, okay, the draft's underwhelming, then trade the picks.
Sure.
If you don't think you can find, then trade the picks, package something together, and get somebody in that can help you today, because that's the Bucks issue. You need somebody today.
I just also think, Trey, that it's interesting because you named a couple of guys that were good, really good college players. You start looking at more of what John Horst has done and the guys that he's selected. He stayed away from the college game quite a bit. Like, I wonder if the way the college game is being played right now, or the development or lack thereof, is it simply just, more guys going 1 year to a certain place and then going to another one. Maybe he doesn't think the development is of the same ilk at that point. That's a fascinating trend where he seems to avoid it significantly. And AJ Johnson is just another case of a guy that, he could have went pretty much wherever he wanted as a 4 to 5 star recruit at a couple of different services. He was going to go to Texas and decided he was going to go play professional. I just wonder if you got the real truth serum, if that's a part of the decision, is John Horst doesn't like where college basketball is right now.
That could be true. And again, he definitely likes his he definitely likes his G League Ignite guys.
Yeah, he does.
Which and that's who you got at Tyler Smith at the 33 pick. But if you go through some of his selections, again, college or not, his draft picks under John Horst in 2017. How about DJ Wilson? That work?
No, but every guy's going to have misses. Every guy's going to have more. He also drafted Malcolm Brogdon. So I think that's like the comp of a college performing college guy. 2000. Was that him or was that Hammond? I thought it was 16. Am I wrong? Maybe he was gone by then. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe that was Hammond. So if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But
I don't think that was.
What was DJ Wilson then?
We'll go. No, DJ Wilson was 17 pick in 2017. Sterling Brown. Then you pick Sterling Brown. How'd that work out? Yeah,
but these are second rounders. Trey, it's a low hit rate on second rounders.
Okay, Dante DiVincenzo, who's playing well, is not helping you here.
Playing now, but yeah.
Marjon Beauchamp, how's he doing so far?
I agree with you on that. Now the question is that also part of like Doc as the coach? So you're not going to get a lot of run with young guys, and then will development be stunted.
Tyrese Maxey was the 21st overall pick when he came in under Doc Rivers, and Doc said he was going to be one of our main bench guys. Now that was a swing, right? You could say that, and then he ends up being the most improved player in the league in 2024.
And he's ascending into a star now, I would say, right?
That's the only thing, Trey. Like I totally understand it. I really do. I also believe that when the critique of fans is they got to get younger and they got to get they got to get more explosive, they got to get more athletic, then they take one, and for sure he's not going to maybe help you in this iteration this year. However, if you are trying to maximize the next era of Giannis's growth here at 29 years old, I think you got to start trying to open up the next window instead of just trying to grasp and hold and try to struggle to keep this one open. That's where I enjoy the pick of saying, hey, if we're going to do something in years 32, 33, 34 of Giannis, we need another running mate that's younger, and this is our best chance to find that instead of a 3 to 4 year college player.
Man, I hear you. But I also, again, you can still be younger. Even you're 3 to 4 year college player, maybe he's 23. He still should be viable and ready to play at 26, 27 when Giannis is 30 in his early 30s or mid 30s there. So I get where you're going with it, but again, it's still like it's a crapshoot on AJ Johnson. Nobody knows what AJ Johnson is going to be. Anyway, but what we do know, again, maybe he'll surprise us. Maybe he'll end up playing. What we do know is most likely he will not be able to touch the court in year one. And I think that is going to be, with any significant minutes and help you in the playoffs and down the line, I think that's the thing that a lot of people are going to scoff at and look at, man, you didn't help yourself. Because I get it what you're saying. You want to open the window up for, long term. But you look at what Boston's doing. You look at what New York's doing. You look at what Philly's doing.
Sure.
And, again, am I scared of Philadelphia? No. But, if they're healthy, a lot of things depend on health.
If they're healthy.
The Bucks are another team now that you have to go if they're healthy. Like,
sure.
I think that is very concerning.
Of course.
Before, I didn't really think like that, but the Bucks are 100 squarely in that camp of if they are healthy, which is a bad place to be. And again, and here's the thing, if you want to get into that, well, talking about the future in 3-4 years, then the guys that are going to be healthy are the Chris Middletons of the world, the Brook Lopez of the world, your Bobby Portis. Like, you want to see some of those guys get moved if you want to get younger in that way too.
Now, that is fair. How much better, Trey Crosby, do you believe Philadelphia got with the Paul George signing?
Oh, they're much better. I mean, he's a legitimate running mate. I think, for Joel Embiid, he's a guy who, let's say Joel Embiid is hampered a little bit. Would you rather have Tobias Harris trying to let's say Joel Embiid's at 60%, and you need to find a way to get through the first round into the second round and maybe get him a little more help. Would you rather have Tobias Harris as a running mate with those guys, or would you rather have Paul George? Like, I think that answer is pretty obvious. So again, Tyrese Maxey just continues to get better. They bring in Paul George. I mean, they're gonna be a formidable basketball team to get out. If their team was just Maxey and Paul George, that's a tough out basketball team. You throw in Embiid and those boys, they're gonna be tough to beat, 100%. So yeah, I definitely think that they did a service to themselves by doing that. Again, they set themselves up for it. So good for Philadelphia.
It's funny. I have quite a few people out of that area that I talk to that don't love it. They don't love the pick or the pickup, and they're terrified, just like Milwaukee fans are, of health and age. And what can you do when playoff time rolls around? Trey, it seemed like this year there were more injuries in the postseason, more guys missing time in the postseason. Did it feel that way to you as well?
And I don't know, again, if it's playing too much basketball, they're playing, year round. I don't know. It may be also a combination of, this could have started maybe at the youth level as well, where the guys of today played much earlier and played longer earlier. I mean, I think, that could be a thing. You play AAU year round. By the time you get to your late 20s and your early 30s, you might have some of these nagging injuries that come to pop up a little bit more than some of our stars of yesteryear. So again, some of it's bigger, stronger, faster, but your bones are the same. So I think all of it's a combination. Yeah, but it was interesting. So we'll see how much guys are held out next year. But yeah, I mean, I don't have a rhyme or reason. I'm trying to come up with something. I don't have a rhyme or reason for it, but yeah, I agree with you. There were definitely some more injuries. And I think that's the NBA problem as well, not just specific teams, but the NBA in general. For a fan watching, your game experience, too many guys, especially in a game that's not, I mean, you understand it in the NFL, you understand in football, guys are going to miss games. It's a physical, it's a violent sport. Basketball's physical. It's not necessarily violent. You shouldn't have guys. You want your stars playing. Like, their league is based upon stars. The stars need to be out there.
All right, Trey, I'm fascinated by the development in Boston. They win the title 2 weeks ago. Now their controlling owner wants to put the team up for sale. His partner in the business deal said yesterday, put out a press release, like, I'm going to try to be a member of the bidding process. I'm seeing these valuations reach $4 billion if I'm one of these owners.
Yeah, I've seen 5.
And I'm saying I'm going to cash out, right? Like, I understand where they're at. Do you believe there's anything more to it, right? Like, I mean, you see the league in all different realms. You see the financials of it. I'm watching all these owners, especially Mark Cuban. That one really raised an eyebrow to me when he decided, and now he still gets control of basketball operations. So it ends up being a good deal. He just got $4 billion. But it appears like many owners are seeing the salaries go up, seeing where the tax aprons have limited teams, how much money I'm going to have to pay, because fans don't care if we're paying the tax. They want us to pay the tax. it just seems like right now owners are not loving the asset, which is the NBA team, as much as they did 4 years ago. Or am I trying to read too much into it?
Yeah, I don't know. You see this massive TV deal that the NBA gets. I mean, I think I was listening to NBA radio, not too long ago, and they were saying, that it's so Jason Tatum at the end of his deal is going to be making $70 million per year, right? This $350 million deal.
Correct. Yes.
Is it outside the realm of imagination that in when Wemby comes up for his next deal,
yes,
that the super max is going to approach $100 million a year? Like, that's where we're going. And so, you see those numbers, and it's crazy. So, and again, like you said, the Celtics were every time these teams go up for sale, their value right now, through the valuation at $4.7 billion. So that means they're gonna go over that. Is the thought process? So yeah, you're talking about $5-6 billion. The Celtics are one of those. Not like you talk about the Bucks, but not like the Bucks, not like the Mavericks, not like some of these other teams that sell. The Celtics are like if you want to give the blue blood of actual sports franchises. They're up there with the Cowboys. When you're talking about those historic, for the Lakers, those historic franchises.
Yankees,
Yankees, exactly. Red Sox. So yeah, I think it definitely is. It has to be enticing when to see that type of money flow in, and these people are businessmen at the end of the day. And so do you not too many times to pass up on getting $5-6 billion and control the team? And here's the great thing about the Boston Celtics stuff. They're trying to sell the team now and hold on to it hold on to this title window, because they're going to control it through 2028. So you get all the you get all of the good, you get the money, and you get the team through 2028. And you say, okay, here's the scraps of whatever
the fun of
we have left of the championships that we've won. So yeah, definitely is a good deal if you're a Boston owner right now.
Yeah, you get the fun of winning, which is usually what it is for a lot of these owners. It's like
you get to brag to your buddies that my team's awesome, and then when they're gonna stink, you trade them.
That's usually what
that makes sense.
Owning a team is up for these guys, except for the money, of course. It's hard to believe. I remember when Steve Ballmer bought the Clippers, it was like $2 billion, and it's hard to believe how much it's got. I thought that was crazy at the time, and now it's gone up even more.
Inside of 10 years ago, the Bucks went for $550 million.
Right. So in my head, I keep thinking there has to be a cap to this. Like, guys can't be paid an exponentially greater sum like that forever. But who knows what's going to happen? Before we go, Trey, I got to ask you, because I want to hear it. What the first thing you felt when you saw that report float out there from one person, who, that Mr. Jabari Parker might be getting interest from teams? And
he was right on AJ Johnson. He just said at 33, not 20.
I have to know what you felt right away when you saw that float across Twitter, and seemingly this nostalgic desire for some of Bucks Twitter that want Jabari again.
And that was my thought. Get out of here. It makes no sense. Didn't he get a summer league deal? Didn't he get the summer league deal last year with the Bucks, or the year before, and then he couldn't go?
Then he couldn't play. Yeah,
he couldn't play. So maybe there is some interest there. For a summer league. I don't want Jabari Parker anywhere near our actual roster. Somebody I was on Twitter, and somebody was like, well. I was like, why would you want Jabari Parker? The vibes. What vibe?
What vibe? Right.
Parker? The vibes of him crying in the interview. That doesn't seem like great vibes to me.
I hate to say it, but like there were, after his introductory press conference at the public market, that was the end of the good vibes of it. It's not that I'm trying to be hard on Jabari. I understand the injuries were unfortunate, but like some of that is also he wasn't interested in defense. I hate to be this guy, but what's the nostalgia even factor there? Right. It wasn't that much good. So.
I'll take OJ Mayo on a flyer over Jabari Parker.
He's eligible to get reinstated, right?
I guess so. How old is he now? What's his?
Don't care. We want Juice Mayo. We want Juice. Like I'm very interested in that. More than anything,
get Sam Dallenberg. Get all of those boys back. Right?
I don't think we want Sam Dallenberg. I don't think we want Sam Dallenberg. We want OJ Mayo because we want another tribute video to OJ Mayo when he comes back and sits next to the owners. Trey, always appreciate it, man. It's always fun. We thank you for your time. We kept you way longer than necessary, but that's generally what happens when we start having fun. So thanks as always, man.
So, hey, who knows?
Who knows? Trey Crosby on your T's and Q's hanging out with us here. John seems like he borrowed Paul Wagner's phone. What the heck, dude? Not even close.
It started off so well. It started off so well, and then
did he switch phones?
I think he jumped in a pool with the phone in his hand. Or earbuds or something. I don't know.
Vacation, right?
I don't know why that happens.
I don't know why it happens either.
Yeah, maybe I don't know. Maybe it's a studio. I don't know.
No, that could be. You know what? We're gonna get a new one. I think we should get a new one.
I can't wait.
I'm gonna put that in. I think we should get a new one. 414-799-1973.
Suggestion box for the new studio. Phone that's not underwater.
That's a winner right there.
Maybe a new P drive.
Hey, let's do that one too.
Don't get crazy.
Don't get crazy. How about a microphone
Don't get crazy.
How about a microphone that doesn't break if Armin accidentally headbutts it? Can we get that one too?
Well, that I don't think we can get.
That just takes me just keeping the screw tight here. You know what? If I
keep locking it in.
If I had
I've watched you break that microphone easily 20 times in the last.
That's partly my fault. I'll admit that.
You do get a little rough with it.
When I get fired up, I kind of get a little rough with it. Yeah, no doubt about it. So yeah.
414-799-1973. Mention that Klay Thompson is no longer going to be a member of the Golden State Warriors. The breakup of one of the best dynasties in the last number of years, one of the more influential teams in basketball, seems to go out quite interesting in Golden State. And we got to talk about the soccer last night because we have a soccer expert on this show. Somebody's going to be able to answer us. What the heck happened? Come on, Alexi Lawless was so fired up, so mad yesterday.
He always is.
Somebody's got to tell us exactly what happened to this U.S. soccer team. And do we stink at soccer? Have we always been bad? Somebody's got to answer that. 414-799-1973. Our soccer expert, our soccer coach will too. On the other side, it's 9 to noon on the game.
John Kuhn here for Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. And how do we feel about a good Wisconsin dad joke today? Feel good about that? Okay, well, here you go. How do mice floss their teeth? With string cheese. Bada bing. Okay, now time for a window dad joke. What do you need in order to cook in a sunny kitchen? How about shade and bake? And I just can't help myself. The mind is on windows and doors this morning, and thanks to an incredible deal going on at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, it can be on your mind too. Pay as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door this month. And Pella completes installation with little mess and no hassle, leaving nothing behind but perfect results. Again, get as low as $18 per window and $81 per patio door this month at Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. But you got to hurry. This deal ends July 31st, so hurry. And please tell Gina Della that John Kuhn sent you. Certain restrictions apply. See showroom for details. Visit PellaWI.com today.
9 to noon. Thanks for being here with us. Statewide on the game. Happy Place Hemp and happyplacehemp.com have been with 97.3 The Game for a long time because they continue to bring you some of the best locally and legally produced hemp products in the state of Wisconsin. And the best thing is they also now have a new THC CBD infused seltzer called Drift. No alcohol, no calories. No problems when you got a Drift in your hands. Helps you drift into happiness with free shipping. When you order 3 or more 4-packs, you will order more because they're fantastic. If you didn't sleep well last night, happyplacehemp.com has you a CBN Sleepy Time gummies that can help you out. Or if you got a weekend, Drew and KB like to call it a Viking weekend, when the missus, the significant other, leaves and you're just hanging out on your couch trying to figure out how you're going to celebrate, how you're going to hang out.
Those are good
I got
times.
exactly how. Happyplacehemp.com Delta 8 gummies. Now, in case you really want to have yourself a dang weekend, that's the way to celebrate and have some fun. Or let's celebrate the 4th of July. And go to a parade. It's really the best way to make a parade exciting. Fireworks. Like if anybody takes parade over fireworks, you better have some Happy Place Hemp. Because otherwise, I don't know exactly what you're doing.
I don't know, man.
Make sure you enjoy that happyplacehemp.com promo code Billy.
I don't know. The 4th of July parade in Egg Harbor slaps.
Not better than fireworks.
I think it does. I think it does.
See, I don't know. I like parades, and everyone else would always make fun of me for it. I like parades, man. They're fun. It's vibe.
Am I really outnumbered on this?
I think if you took it to the polls, I think most people would say
there's
fireworks.
There's something about this. There's something about this parade. It's
they throw out candy?
They throw out candy.
Okay, that's a winner.
Some cars throw out beers.
Okay, I've never been to one of those.
Well,
I've never been to one of those. That
parade,
helps.
The Bucks parade.
Listen,
I wasn't. I was here, so
thank you.
It's anywhere between 75 and 95 degrees.
Yeah,
and it's like a big tailgate with people for a parade. It is awesome. It is awesome.
I'm a big parade guy. I'm a big parade guy.
Big parade guy.
I always was. I like them. I like parades.
I don't know. Like St. Patrick's Day parades are pretty cool. They are pretty awesome.
I'll be at the bar.
However, the weather can be bad.
Yeah.
But the 4th of July parade, the weather is always. Well, I know I'm saying that, I'm jinxing it. It's always hot.
Yeah, it's top notch.
It's always
Vibes.
beer slamming weather.
Mm-hmm.
Beer slamming weather. And you're sitting there. You got your brother-in-laws with you. You see them twice a year. You're slamming beers. The kids are happy. They're getting candy thrown at them. I mean, it's just awesome. It's just an awesome 2 hours.
It's a 2-hour parade.
It's a long one.
Gee.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I'd be able to handle that.
Well, we show up a little bit early.
Sure, get the chairs out.
Yeah, and there's always somebody smoking meat somewhere, so you can get some food. It's everything you want. It's a 4th of July cookout, parade, drinking. It's just fun.
You see, awesome, now Hales Corners 4th of July is it's talked about.
That's a really good one too.
We got the bed races going down Janesville Avenue, which is always fun with the different age brackets and everything. We would go to a family party every single year, right? Pool, front yard, dodgeball game. Everybody go for the parade, and it was kind of just understood. Like, we'll stay back here.
You would be like, I'm good.
I'm good. We got food. We got, sparklers. We got a pool. We're about to play some intense dodgeball, and I'm going to get my lip busted open by a dad. Like, that sounds like something I can't miss.
No, that's fun. I agree. But was the parade close to the house you were hanging out
a couple blocks away?
So it wasn't like you go in the front yard, you can do all that stuff while the parade's going. Because
that's true. That would be spoiled.
Some people live right in front of the parade, and then that is like the best. See, I always
it is. And listen, I've been spoiled by Mardi Gras. Like, I've seen the greatest parade in the world.
That's next level stuff.
And I think if I put that up against the greatest fireworks in the world, I'm still taking that Mardi Gras parade over the fireworks. So, like, you can talk about good parades versus good fireworks. I think I'm gonna take the best parade, Mardi Gras. You give me the worst parade and the worst fireworks.
Might take fireworks.
Oh, I'm taking fireworks. A risk there?
The worst
have a higher floor, but a lower ceiling.
Worst fireworks are
those
snakes you light on fire that just melt a black stain in your sidewalk.
Oh, see, I went more sadistic with it. You said worst fireworks, and I'm like, oh, geez, there's gonna be a JPP incident. That's gonna be something you're gonna talk about at least. At least that's gonna be a story to tell.
I mean, listen. I mean, here's the thing: parades can still be different and interesting. After, like, every parade could be different. You don't know what to expect. Fireworks are generally the same.
No, they're not.
Fireworks are the same.
No, they're not.
Yes,
I'm sorry. I'm going to put my foot down on that. There's going to be a fire truck. Then there's going to be an ambulance, and then somebody's going to drive their Corvette, and the
Corvette club or whatever.
Yeah, the village town hall. There's going to be a couple of people driving in a 1964 Chevelle. It's the same one every single time.
There's going to be the Boy Scouts riding their bikes.
Yeah, the high school marching band is going to play, and somebody's going to almost drop the banner in front of them.
Do they all have congressmen that run the entire parade and then stop to take a knee to chug a beer as they continue carrying their American flag running down the road? Do they all do that?
Beer chugging the politicians?
That's now.
Now that happened. Now that's happened every year. It won't happen this year because our congressman is now out. But it is an incredible parade.
What about the clowns?
Sounds like that was a one-off cat that was making it a different event.
It was several years of one-offs, but yes, it was an event.
See, you might see that. You don't know what you're going to see. I think generally the fireworks, it's the same thing. It might be cool to watch, but after a while, it's like I've seen fireworks before. I know the little, and what happened to the little swirlers, by the way? The whistlers? I don't hear those anymore when I watch fireworks.
Swirlers.
You go,
what?
They whistle around. I don't see those anymore. I feel like there's less of those.
That's because you're in bed too early.
No, I'm just saying, I feel like when I've seen fireworks shows, those don't come up as often anymore. I don't know. I just feel like fireworks I've seen before. But
Lumberjack Pete, Watertown's parade pushes 3 hours long. Candy, popsicles, beer, flowers. Flowers coming from a greenhouse, at least with super soakers. 3 hours is way too damn long for me to be watching a parade.
No,
I'm going to be so bored by that.
I understand
time.
3 hours.
Take a halftime, walk to the back, grab yourself some pulled pork, come on back. You'll be just fine.
There's just it's way too long.
Yeah, I that is a long parade. I will admit that. But,
Barman, you'd be just fine at a 3 hour.
Well, I'd be fine. I'd love it. I'd love it, But here's the thing: if you're also collecting candy,
Kirk and Madison, I'm with Kuhn. The parade absolutely wins.
It's better.
Nick from Salem, John is 100% correct here. Parade all the way around, good time. Wow. Okay. Yeah. Do not go to the same parades.
Well, I feel like a parade connects us as a community in ways that fireworks, you're just watching a show.
Braden, have you ever seen a kid afraid at a parade? What about at the fireworks? Yeah, you can absolutely see a kid afraid when the high school mascot walks by. He starts freaking out. What is Santa Claus doing here? July 4th. Santa can't be in the parade.
Sure.
They're going to freak out. They're going to be a little scared
forget
there.
Forget the high school
seen
mascots.
kids get wigged out at Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
See
Very
some
much
masks
so, yes.
You're not ready for it.
Forget the school mascots. The craziest mascots are the ones from businesses that you didn't know had a mascot. Like, you know what I mean? Like the bank has some crazy mascot, or like just random businesses have mascots, costumes, and they put them on. I'm like, since one of this queer guy.
I don't know, man. You got fire departments, you got Corvettes, you got skipper buds every year. You got Miss Door County. I mean,
I haven't been to that one.
There's so much going on. The 4th of July parade is the one.
I'm telling you,
that's the one. That's the parade of all parades.
I love parade vibes. I'm a parade guy. And the way people now are trying to reserve their spots days in advance. You seeing this by your house, Billy? Like, I know they do it in Greendale and Greenfield.
No.
People putting out ropes and blankets and spaces. Now they have processes for how soon people can put out their stuff.
4 a.m, Armin. I'm 4 a.m. with my
geez.
chairs because I got to get right on the corner. 4 a.m, and those things are set up.
Do they have rules to when you can start now? Because that's what they're doing in a lot of municipalities.
I don't know if people start doing the night before, it's gonna be a problem.
Eric said parades are the equivalent of watching only commercials for 2 hours long.
I don't know. That's funny, although I don't know if it's exactly true, but it's funny. Actually, that's a good one. That's a good
Parades
one.
used to be fun when everyone would draw a circle in the street to where the horses
would poop. Yeah,
left it go.
Well, they did those downtown a lot for the Christmas parade. I remember that. We did that when I was a kid. What? People don't do that anymore? Or there's no horses? Or what? I don't get the.
I don't know. I'm not going to parades, so I'm not seeing it.
Right. So I bet someone still does that.
You got to still have the horses out there.
I would think so, but I don't know if everybody has horses.
That's like not having a sports car in it.
I think the big parades like Milwaukee.
Got to have a cop with a horse.
And that's how people will gamble at parades, Billy.
What?
Yeah, that the winner.
You're not in on this?
Come on, man.
No, I'm not going to a parade.
Well, okay, everyone would have circles out like a chuck-a-puck, and then wherever the horse pooped, if it's in their circle, you get the pot. You get the money. That's what people used to do.
Yes.
No one's doing that.
What?
Yes, they are. A lot of people are doing it.
Okay.
That was the whole thing. That was the whole way you did it, Billy. I mean, I didn't do it. I saw the older people do it.
You get to buy a circle to put your money.
It's like squares, dude. I'm not kidding. Are you getting? Or when you were kids, kids would get
the first circle to get a dropping in it is the take home winner.
Huh. Okay.
That horse stops above your circle. You are just go.
Yes.
Ah, the parade starts moving again. Dang it.
But when kids did it, we did it for candy, not money when we were kids. But
okay. All right, parades. All right, parades. I was unfamiliar with your game. 414-799-1973. It's 9 to noon on the game. 9 to noon on the game. People are laying in on the parade routes, hammering this take. I'm sorry, not going to the parade. There's a lot of things that the parade's just not going to be a 3-hour parade. That's way too long.
Just as one of the better ways to connect with the community, right? You're all together, parades, pep rallies. Well, yeah, but this is you're in a physical space together is my point. Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Voting's good too. Should vote, should be part of the process.
There you go. Yeah.
If I was in a parade, I'd crank this song for 2 straight hours. On repeat.
Oh, this is what you'd be rocking.
Why not?
Because West Bend Chris said, watch Toby Keith's Made in America music video, and then maybe you'll change your mind on 4th of July parades because it features Cedarburg's 4th of July parade.
All right, there you go. Everyone's got their own parade, and everyone is always keeps up for their parade.
I like that. So you would bump John Cougar Mellencamp.
I mean, this song's a good parade song.
It's a great song.
It is a decent parade song. Yeah, I could hear this. Okay.
You know?
Is this Mellencamp's best song, though?
Oh, that's a tough it's a tough question. He has so many good ones.
Yeah, I got all of them.
I mean, you got Hurt So Good.
Totally. Yeah.
Hurt So Good.
Yep.
I mean, you got
Jack and Diane.
Jack and Diane. You have ROCK in the USA.
Oh, that was him too?
The Authority song.
Wait, he did sing that one.
Oh,
I think Jack and Diane's number 1.
That's one of his all-timers, no doubt. I mean, I got the Greatest Hits album. Are you kidding me? I've got Pink Houses.
Do you have it on an actual vinyl record too?
No, I had a CD. I had a CD
or an 8-track.
I had a CD of this. I did. I had the Greatest Hits CD. You know, ROCK in the USA. You know,
that's a great one.
Yeah, definitely. This would be the parade song. I think that you'd have to be rocking.
Yeah, it's another great one. Just play the whole album.
Rocking and driving in your Trans Am.
How about Cherry Bomb? Remember? Do you know Cherry Bomb?
No, play it now.
I've had a Cherry Bomb.
Cherry Bomb. I'll get Cherry Bomb.
I'll drink a Cherry Bomb while listening to Cherry Bomb on the 4th of July, and that will be great.
Cherry Bomb was a good one.
Oh, this is Cherry Bomb.
This is a good song. Okay.
This is fantastic.
Yeah. All right. You know what it sounds like when you hear it, right?
All right, Mr. Mellencamp.
Yeah. There's some good.
Are you telling me now I need to? Now. And I'm not going to buy the cassette. I will download the
playlist. The playlist.
Do we even need it? Listen, John Mellencamp might actually have his own channel on Pandora or something that we can listen to.
No, I would assume he's got something. Maybe a Sirius channel or something.
He's got a whole bunch of those channels on every app.
I now feel very convicted that the entire 4th of July, I'm just playing John Cougar Mellencamp.
Just play it on the backyard,
as loud as I can.
You know, Pink Houses.
Yeah. I'm going to play it backyard. I'm going to play it at parade. I'm going to take a boombox to the parade.
That's what I'm talking about.
Parade. And then I'm going to take it onto the boat with us too and play it on the boat. Yeah. And then I'll play it during the fireworks all day. John Cougar Mellencamp.
You know, Hurt So Good. I think this was the theme of the Brewers Parade in '82.
Listen,
I thought you were going to say
Billy did not say parades suck. Why? He said fireworks were better than parades. He did not say parades,
which is a totally fair take.
So whoever unnamed in the 414 as it says, I'm with you, Billy. Parades suck. That's not what Billy's saying. Parades are awesome. Billy, he's a little under the awesome mark, but he didn't say they suck.
Little under the awesome mark.
By the way, did you do Mardi Gras yet?
I have not. No.
It's one of your favorite cities in the world.
Yep.
It's just below Las Vegas as far as favorite cities.
Yep. So I have not been down there for the Mardi Gras parade yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going down for the Super Bowl. We were told that.
We're told that. Yes.
We're going to New Orleans for the Super Bowl. You can't take it back now, Red Hot Tim Scott. That bill is in and it needs to be paid. We're going to the Super Bowl. Done deal. And I think Mardi Gras is just a week or two after the Super Bowl this year.
Oh, so it's got to be around there.
We might just extend our
extend it a little bit. There you go. I like that deal. Okay.
Yeah, get it done. Red Hot. Pay it.
Figure it out. Come on, figure it out, Tim. Tim and Tom, figure it out. Let's make sure that this thing is happening down there. 414-799-1973. I always do love figuring out what's going to trigger people. Did not know. It's like the Our State Fair song in the old musical. It's a great state fair.
Yeah.
Don't miss it. Don't even be late.
Sure.
Man, dollars to donuts. Everybody's saying that their 4th of July parade is better than everybody else's.
You know why? There's a level of civic pride with that.
We got pride. We got pride in ours.
Right.
Got real pride. It is awesome.
No one says like, well, we got the greatest fireworks. Like people don't really have that same type of pride to it. But when it comes to parades, haven't you ever been to our parade? Like type of thing. Like,
oh yes, very much.
Because 4th of July parades, I mean, how many are going on across the United States of America on the 4th of July? Hundreds of thousands, maybe, right? And everyone believes that they got the best one.
They got the best
but
one.
That's
our Boy Scouts.
But that's what makes it the best.
Right.
That's what makes it the best. That's why the 4th of July parade is the best parade, because everybody stays at their own damn 4th of July parade and they don't overcrowd anybody else's.
This is our home.
I'm doing my town.
This is my town.
My 4th of July parade. I'm going to love every second of it.
Or kids were out there working.
I remember the shrine, the Tripoli shrine, the clowns that would get out of the car and run around and get back in the car and drive around. Anybody remember the clowns in these parades? There were like clowns that would get out of a car, like a small car. There'd be like a bunch of them. They'd run around with their little bike. They'd ride around their bikes and then get back in the car. I love that. That was electric. Because I'm like, get back in. Get back in.
I don't know if you're allowed to say that anymore.
I don't know what we're talking about at this point now.
The Shriners. There were Shriners.
Yeah, the Shriners. Yeah.
I think
is this like the Elders?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, totally.
No,
yeah, we all totally have all their albums. Shriners. You gonna play some of their music?
Well, the Packers used to have a Shriners
Line guy's
game.
asking, why are you playing John Cougar Mellencamp? He die or something? No, we're just feeling like he's great 4th of July vibes.
He's 4th of July
elite
vibes.
4th of July vibes.
You have to listen to the show to know. So.
Yeah.
Don't
just
miss a
jump
second.
on in, line
Don't
guy.
miss a second.
And make sure you get notified when Armin Sarian tweets at Armin Sarian. At KoonJ30, you also should subscribe to those tweets as well. I'm at Bill Schmidt Radio. Probably don't do that. You have better things to do with your time. Hour number 3, best one of the day, best one of the week coming up next, because we're going to have a Coons Can't Miss. And it's not going to include our American soccer team, which apparently stinks. Get into that more.
We got to talk about
on the other side. It's 9 to noon on the Game. Hour 3, 9 to noon on the game. No, it's not the Mike Heller show. I just like Zach Brown band plays. People instantly just think it's the Mike Heller show.
Yeah.
It is not. That is in an hour from right now. We're going to continue to run through the tape. It is going to be a fantastic third hour because it always is the best hour of the day because we go to Potawatomi Sportsbook. We try to get a Coons Can't Miss. We try to win you some cash. We run through what else we've talked about here today. We round third, head for home, and maybe say goodbye to Armin Sarian for like a month.
See. We don't know yet. There's no word yet, but at some point,
nothing yet.
You will say goodbye to me for a couple
weeks,
a couple
2-3 weeks
time. Yeah,
an extended period of time, or as they like to say in the business world, paid leave. 414-799-1973. What
bonding time they call it now?
Okay. I'm glad you said it. Bonding time.
I know we got to talk about the it's different. We're talking about the soccer team, their struggles, but I got to ask you guys: you believe Bobby and Nishota?
Bobby Nishota say?
Do you believe this?
There's been a lot of texts, so I haven't gotten to all of them.
I was scarred for years when, as a 5-year-old, a clown snuck up behind me and poured a bucket of ice cold water over my head at a 4th of July parade.
I believe that. I absolutely believe that.
You think clown would pour an ice cold bucket of water on a random 5-year-old's head at a parade?
I'm going to say yes.
Really?
Wow. If I was a clown in a 4th of July parade,
you would do that?
I would do that.
Well, nobody knows who you are. You can get away with it.
It's kind of like a mascot. You can get away with doing something that otherwise you probably wouldn't.
But that's a good point. I was thinking about, like, in Chicago, they have Benny the Bull at Chicago Bulls games, who every game pours a big bag of popcorn over someone's head that doesn't know. It's a funny thing in this. I think popcorn's one thing. You can brush it off. It's funny. A 5-year-old cold water bucket of water. I don't know, man. I don't know.
What if it's really hot? What if it's 90?
Yeah, I mean, July.
Degrees?
That sounds like the day to do it.
What if it's 99 degrees and weather people all across the state are saying, hey, be careful outside.
Yeah.
Be careful outside. You got to make sure you stay cold, hydrate, keep yourself cooled down. A little bit of water on the skin never hurt you. Yeah, as a clown, you can do your civic duty and keep people,
maybe it was in the middle of the ice bucket challenge, was just trying to raise some money for ALS.
Well, I thought about that too. So if it was like more socially acceptable.
So what you're saying is Bobby's about 17 years old right now. Is what you're saying.
I mean, turns out he's like 40, but it could be close.
He said he's about 41 because he said got over parade phobia after a year or two. After that, I still hate clowns 36 years later. So he's 41, 42 now. I would have 41 based on his
I also don't think he's the only person that hates clowns. Like, that's where you talking about these clowns running out of a car and like, that doesn't sound very parade-y to me. Parade to me seems like, let's wave. John said, Mrs. Door County is going to be there. Let's throw some candy out. It doesn't sound like traumatizing young children day.
Not everyone hates clowns.
I can't believe Armin thinks this is out of the realm of possibility. First of all, it was the 80s. It was the 80s when he had that poured on his head.
Yeah, anything could happen back then.
In the 80s, everything did happen. Parents were ripping cigs nonstop.
Yeah.
I mean, it was in the car, put the window down. I can't breathe back here, right? I mean, the 80s were a different time. You doubted that a clown threw a bucket of water on a kid.
I guess you're right. I mean,
everything did happen.
I mean, they had the leftover, the playground equipment was all that sharp metal and stuff like that. You remember the playground equipment back then? Man, it was just changing when I was growing up, but to the safe plastic stuff.
Sure.
Oh, they had all kinds of unsafe.
Yeah, it was just
dirt. I grew up at the wrong time.
It was just dirt and swings. That's all.
No, what about that twirly thing
Slivers
that was just metal and it would fly you off?
What was that thing called?
It's like, I don't know what they call it.
No,
a saucer?
No. Hold on, no, they didn't call it a saucer.
A corkscrew?
No. It's
the hamster wheel.
No, it's not a hamster wheel. What is that thing?
I don't even know what we're talking about.
It's the thing where you spin people on it. You put like 5 kids in and hold on to these metal bars.
Hold on to the metal bar.
Yeah.
Okay.
The things were awesome.
Oh, that was fun.
What are they called?
I don't know. It was hot metal. That's all I remember. That's what it was. It was like
just hot.
It was no safe plastic. It would be in the sun, and you could fly off that thing, and you couldn't
rusting over.
Monkey bars were great.
Well,
they had big, long monkey bars. Yeah. Now monkey bars, you only have about 5 of them, right? And then
it's about over. Yeah. I used to like the big metal half sphere that you'd try to crawl on, and they'd be cut out in triangles, and then at some point you'd sit on the top, and then somebody would be like, "Oh, we're playing King of the Hill." We weren't planning on it, but I think we should play King of the Hill on this metal contraption.
We would play taps 21.
awesome.
He's going clink, 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 like Klinko across the top. Come on, get in there, get in there.
Bounce around. Dang, didn't count. Wrong one.
Now
merry-go-round. It's a damn merry-go-round, darn.
That's not a merry-go-round.
Oh, I don't look
in the merry. I would have thought a merry-go-round would have been
like a carousel.
Yeah,
where you're riding on horses and stuff, right?
No, that's what I always thought it was.
Well, that's what I thought.
Huh? Let me look.
Yeah, is that a merry-go-round?
Well, maybe you guys called it that. It might have been called that by some, in some geographic pockets of culture.
Named in a 414 calls it 414 calls it a devil's wheel.
Well, that's what it felt
like. That's what I call roulette.
Definitely
not the tilt-a-whirl.
Okay, Casey in German said merry-go-round. I don't know. Maybe it was. Whatever it was hot metal, and that's all I remember about it.
It was. The slides were always burning hot when you slide down. Always good times. Always good times.
Sort of like Christian Pulisic last night at the end of the match. Did you see him burning hot, angry at the officials?
That was a decent one. I was gonna go say, kids growing up in the 80s.
Yes.
We're playing with hot metal, weird playground equipment. These kids growing up that are on the Olympic national team right now grew up, according to some former U.S. players. I mean, it almost seems like silver spoons in their mouth.
Yes.
Seems like they had every opportunity. What happened to our soccer team last night? Now, we have one individual here today that is rocking the 3-stripe life. We have one individual here today that has a kit on. We have one individual here today that coaches soccer at a pretty competitive youth level. So, John, you need to tell us what the heck happened here and why are we not winning in soccer? Now, we can both agree. Armin's on the outside. He's trying to be too nice. We need to be dusting teams in American football. I don't believe that we should be dominating the world of soccer, but it seems like what happened here in this Copa America tournament that I was completely aware of throughout the entirety of it, that watched almost all of it. I thought we were going to at least make it to like the knockout stage, and we got beat again last night.
It's tough. Uruguay is probably the best team in this Copa America. They're one of the favorites to win the whole entire thing.
Their world ranking is up there compared to the other teams.
So when you lose to Panama a couple days ago because of a foolish red card, we talked about that. When that takes place, then you put yourself in a tough spot. You gotta come back. Panama was the team within this group that they really needed to win. That was their one team that was going to be. It's a winnable game. You're probably favored in this game, and you got one team that you already beat. Uruguay is going to be hard to beat, so you got to try and win this game, and then you get yourself a red card and you lose it. The weird thing about this is that's called the golden generation.
Some have said that this is called the golden generation.
It's called the golden generation for U.S. men's national team, USMNT.
How many times are we going to hear that stuff? It's like.
However, I mean, the truth of the matter, it lies in this, Armin. I think every single guy on this team plays overseas. They play overseas.
Well, that's the one thing that I heard that was a little bit surprising to me.
That's a big deal, right?
Because there's a lot of better leagues overseas.
It's better. Yeah. The soccer's better. The competition is better. You should be learning, better techniques. You should be playing against, tougher teams and tougher players. And this team, this is like one of those teams where if you stack this team up against all the other American men's national teams over the years, this team runs a faster 40. This team has more bench presses. And they don't do this in soccer, but I'm just kind of making a relation here.
Sure.
They have higher vertical jumps. They have higher Wonderlic scores. Like everything about this team measures out to be better, to be the best team. But they're all playing on different teams overseas, not even in the U.S., and they don't have that team grind. You add that to the fact that everybody hates the coach's rotations and the substitutions, and he is most likely going to be canned here just before we have ourselves a World Cup on American soil.
Yeah.
There's a lot of turmoil going on in this team, and you could see it. You could see the pressure mounting.
Yeah,
you could see them losing their cool during the game. It came out after the game that the coach had told the players that Panama was tied, that an equalizer was kicked in their match, and that it was tied. He told them this during the game.
Yeah, there's a video of him going like 1-1. And I'm like, oh, geez, what are we doing? This is Ted Lasso?
You don't talk about the other games. You handle your business. And their business was they had to win this ball game.
It was almost like the scene out of Ted Lasso where they're all yelling, "We just need a tie. We just need a tie." Then they actually tie, and then they give up a goal in like the 90th minute.
You can't think that way.
Sorry, spoilers for season 2.
And the thing is, it's been frustrating because we've heard so many times about how every cycle is going to be different for the U.S. men's team. This is finally our time. We're going to be better. And it seems like it's constantly a disappointment. It really does. So it's a frustrating thing now. They automatically qualify for the World Cup, so they didn't need this, but it was still a big tournament. I'd say it's the second most important tournament they're going to play in, the Copa, and they couldn't even get to the knockout stage. It's really a sad thing that we should be better at this, but I don't know. I have friends that believe we don't develop. I mean, some of my friends, they believe that we don't develop soccer well enough. I say our best athletes just don't play soccer in this country. If they did, we'd be a lot better.
Well, and that's where Justin in Fort Atkinson said every good American soccer player eventually grows up and plays another sport. That's why we're bad. I mean, like the only couple that I think of is like I know OBJ was in the U.S. Soccer developmental program, and then he goes and plays football. Like maybe it's just me. I didn't know that there would be that much crossover of different sports. I mean, I think maybe in basketball, but sorry, I'm not seeing a whole lot of 6'8" guys running around here on a soccer pitch.
Right.
Like, I get where the idea comes to, and maybe it'd be more like wide receivers, but
it would be like it wouldn't be 6'8". It'd be Anthony Edwards would be out there playing soccer, right? It would be him. Maybe just him.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, right. Like I mean, there could be a couple, I guess, but
yeah, and he would be the big guy on the team, and then you're going to get like Tyreek Hill to run on a wing.
If Tyreek grew up playing soccer and developing those skills from an early age, like he probably did for football, you don't think Tyreek could be a great soccer player? Like if that's what he was trained in, specialized in, soccer skills, and ball skills as a soccer player.
I think it's a combination of everything here, Armin. I do. I think number one, first and foremost, a lot of athletes, just athletes, get weeded out of soccer earlier here than in other countries. Where in other countries, it's soccer and cricket worldwide. It's soccer, cricket, and baseball. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, no, I know. And basketball is there too, I think, for a lot of
countries. Yeah, but you gotta be tall. You gotta be tall. I'm
right.
talking about just athletes, just regular athletes get weeded out of soccer in America more so than other countries.
Sure.
That's 1A. And then I think 1B, I think the way soccer, and I'm just getting involved with this now, man, when you see these soccer tournaments with hundreds and thousands of kids at them, and you say to yourself, well, how is this not developing and going further? How is this not going to colleges and then to national teams and then to World Cups and then to championships? And to some extent, it has
for women
on the women's side.
For women, yeah.
But the men's side, and you do have to wonder, when you hit that point, like the point I'm just starting to hit right now, you got to pay money to be noticed. You got to pay money to be seen. You got to pay money to play in these select tournaments, where I don't know if that's the case in other countries, right? Didn't Giannis grow up a phenomenal soccer player?
Well, he grew up with an interest in soccer first. I think once he started growing,
Dad was a soccer player.
Dad, I believe so. And maybe one of his brothers. Am I crazy in saying that?
That sounds right.
I think the one that stayed, Francis. But the thing is, yeah, John, and the height. But I think soccer for a lot of kids growing up, especially in Europe or a lot of other countries, is their first love. It's their first dream. That's not the case. That's not the case here, right? Most kids, there's more kids in the United States growing up choosing to spend their money, or parents choosing to spend their money on travel baseball, right? That's just not the case in other countries. That's what it is. It's not to say there's something wrong with that. It's fine that we're great in other sports. We have other sports we love. We have other pastimes. It's just usually, I believe, that's part of the process for why we're not better at soccer. But then we get excited and we hear this is the golden generation. This is the next generation. We're going to start not blowing it against teams we should win. We're ranked. We were ranked, 10th in the FIFA ranking before that match, 11th. And I'm like, all right, well, this is the one. This is the year. We're really going to finally see it. This is more, but we didn't see it. Another disappointment. Alexi Lalas tweeted 18 minutes ago. Oh, summer of 2026 is the most important moment in American soccer history. Talking about the next World Cup. We cannot afford to waste the opportunity. I want to spend the next 2 years being inspired, excited, and positive about the direction and possibilities.
That means fire our coach. That means kick our coach to the curb. I don't like the way that he works the rotations. These youth players, and a lot of people took him and his comments last night as taking shots at the players. I think he's simply trying to say, these guys are supposed to be better than we were.
Right.
Like a lot better than we were.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not, because they're not getting pushed. They're not getting coached properly.
Yeah, it felt like, John, he walked right up to the edge of the pier into saying, we need the new coach, and then said, but that's not what I do. I mean, that's not what I'm doing. But it was about as close as you could have walked him out to the edge of the pier by saying, hey, if you jump right there, there's $1 for you. Like, it was very, very close to saying walk the plank, but I don't want to be the guy to say he has to. He's kind of been that dude, though, isn't he? Like, he's always the soccer voice that is being a little bit more confrontational in the U.S. realm.
Well, yeah, he has I remember the famous rants. It might have been 4 years. I can't remember now how long ago it was, ripping on every player, saying we need to be better. You know, Alexei, when he was on that 94 team, you know, vaguely I remember it. I was about 9, but when the U.S. hosted the World Cup and they had a pretty good team, got to the knockouts, got through the knockout stage, through group stage to the knockout stage, lost 1-0 to Brazil. That was seen as a big accomplishment because U.S. soccer had not even been close to the rest of the world. And the thought was that team was going to be a benchmark and a springboard to what the future would be for American soccer. And 30 years later now, unfortunately, I think we've been stagnant or regressed in that regard. I think that's the disappointment. I think in 94, when the U.S. culture got first really introduced to a team soccer having success, they're like, okay, that's our next step.
But it's cultural, Armin.
Yes,
every
I agree.
other country you look at has a dude that is seen as a LeBron James, that is seen as a Tom Brady, that is seen as a Giannis, and that guy plays soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Every other country,
sure,
every other country.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's where their best athletes go. So I don't know. We have a star. Pulisic is a great player. He plays hard. You hope that'll become a star.
But where is Pulisic in the U.S. Mount Rushmore of athletes? Is he in the top 50?
That's a great question. I don't think you can say
he in the top 100.
I would go 100 because at least I've heard of his name, but I don't know that I could put him much higher than that, John. And that's exactly it.
I mean, you talk about every other country has a guy that we as Americans have heard of and see as their greatest athlete in their country.
See, but then Skylar says, because the good players know where the money is, they go to other countries where soccer sells, just like European players coming here to play basketball.
Well, that's true.
That's true. But again, then they go and play for their country in international play.
FIBA and all that stuff.
So if we really have that many good players that are still coming, they would be still on the team. So that part of it isn't necessarily matching up.
It's good to have players play in better leagues. I mean, right? Because in theory, that means your players that are on your national team should be better. Right? If they're playing in the best leagues, right?
If you believe iron sharpens iron.
That's the idea, right? Because you have players of that caliber. It's just a matter of them putting it together, for a tournament, obviously, like this. And listen, I mean, not everybody is shrouded themselves in glory. I mean, Mexico didn't do well, and they're usually dominant in the Copa.
Maybe we just get Ted Lasso to coach the World Cup team.
Exactly.
In 26.
Exactly.
Believe.
They would believe. They would be fighting a little bit more to the end instead of Pulisic going and complaining to the officials with 4 minutes to go.
That's the work that's to me more so than, hey, it's 1-1. Okay, there's a goal scored on us, and that was the only goal in the game. And by the way, They didn't have good circumstances last night. That wasn't offsides.
Oh, I agree.
That wasn't offsides.
I agree.
Christian Pulisic did potentially have a penalty in the box.
A foul in the box,
where there was a give, there was not a take that could have balanced out the actions of the referees in this ballgame. And because of that, I can understand the frustration. But that frustration was a little bit over the top for me. It looked like panic play versus composed play. It looked like people feeling the pressure of expectations versus reality. And that to me is what says, hey, you got to start foundationally. They do have to get a new head coach going into 2026.
I will say this, as much as it did seem like frustration when he told the refs to go join their celebration and all that stuff, I do like to know in my head, this is our leader of our team, and he's fully invested in us. Like, he really feels that strongly that he was getting cheated and wronged, and I feel his passion of trying to make this team better and this program better. So you feel good as a fan to know he cares that much.
I did also like the trimming of the video to make it just look like they wouldn't shake his hand cut out the part where he's like, go celebrate with them, you jerks. You cheated us. Hey, but nice job. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. Like, I like the trimming of the video. We need to cape up. Come on. We need to put that American flag cape on. All right, 414-799-1973. Ton of response to this conversation. We'll get into reading some of these texts, but first, we need to win you some cash.
That was plus 240. Plus 240 yesterday playing for that tie. And, for all intents and purposes, it should have been the tie. It wasn't offsides, like I said, for the only goal in the game that made my tie pick a loser. So we lost yesterday, but we're going to get back on the horse here today. And I'm going to remind you, if you need to get back on the horse, the place to get back on the horse is Potawatomi Casino Hotel Sportsbook. You know why? Because there's many horses to ride down there, many to ride, many choices to be had, and many things to see in a stadium-like atmosphere, 3 different levels. And honestly, guys, the couch, we sat on the recliners. They were cool. The couches are awesome. The high top tables are nice. The best spot might be the bar. To sit at the bar in the sportsbook.
Yeah.
The bar is actually the perfect distance away from the screen so that you can see everything. At 2,000 square feet, it's pretty damn big to sit too close. It's bigger than a movie theater. You sit back a little further at the bar, and then you have a video poker in front of you too. So you got video poker in front of you. You got the 2,000 square foot curved LED screen with like 8 different things on that you're watching. You got a bartender right there taking care of you. Coon dogs are only $10 and they're 2 meals. So you're perfectly fine right there. It's a place to get back on the horse, a place to have a damn good time. Now today, here you go. Can't miss. Brewers minus 1.5 run line, taking it, done. After that debacle, that walk-off last night, not going to happen. Not going to happen. They're not taking 2 in a row from us, not the Rockies. Brewers are going to go out there, do a little bit more. I love the over-under of 11.5.
Well, that seems high.
I'd go over on that.
Well,
too.
I know because it's in Colorado and all that stuff. Yeah.
It does seem high.
Are we going over?
I would, but we need a simple win here.
Okay,
we need a simple, and it's plus 123 to take minus 1.5. So I'm going to do that. Should I parlay it? Let's see what a parlay. Now you got me talking.
Now we're talking.
Parlay would be
255.
255. I don't know, John. It's up to you.
You know what? I like it. Let's do it. Let's do
it.
Brewers minus 1.5 and over 11.5. Actually, let me see what just the Brewers runs are. Maybe I put that one in there and get better odds. Brewers runs.
This is the moment when you're at the window and you're like, man, I'm starting to second.
And you're listening to the guy next to you. Hey, man, just put this one in. Put this one in. Minus 10,000 favorite. I don't know exactly why I need that one.
My favorite thing about being at the kiosk is when everyone starts to copy off everyone's paper. I'm like, there's no right answer.
Hey, what do you got over here?
No, nobody knows any better than anybody else. Nobody here can see the future, guy. But what do you like? Oh yeah, I like that one.
That guy's reading the sports almanac. He knows the answer.
But that's the great thing about dudes is they always gas and everybody's picks up.
Yes.
No one ever says that's a bad pick. Like that one could hit, dude. I think you got a good.
You got a chance right there, dude.
Yeah. Okay. What do you got, John?
Yeah, I don't. The over 5.5 doesn't give me good enough juice. It only pushes it to plus 143. So we're going to stick with Brewers minus 1.5 and over 11.5 total.
There we go.
All right, let's
book
it.
it in.
We're in at plus 255.
Let's have some fun and let's get a win here tonight with Pat Murphy's squad. Come off the schneid after a frustrating extra inning L. But man, the comeback kids, they are always in the game. 6-4, they scrap, they get the lead, and then solo shot ties it at 7, and you see extra innings there. But Pat Murphy getting another one there on the ledger of another ejection as we get closer and closer to John Kuhn's number. We were wrong. That was called the merry-go-round. The big metal circle with different colors painted on it.
I guess it was.
Apparently, it's called the merry-go-round.
So you're right,
and
John.
there are some very devilish pictures that people are hitting the talk and text line with. I get why they
that thing
call
was
it the
awesome.
devil wheel.
It
was fun.
I used to put friends on and I would just run that thing,
rip it around. Yeah,
they couldn't breathe when they got off it.
You're just trying so hard to squat and hold down, and all of a sudden somebody falls off. Not one forearm break is all that happens. It's okay.
When you're a kid, you make yourself dizzy. It was kind of fun. Now it's just like, man, I'm gonna puke. You know what I mean? That would be tough.
No, I think we'd all be okay.
Well, eventually we'd be fine. Yes.
No, we'd all be throwing up. 414-799-1973. It's 9 to noon statewide on the game.
That's exactly right.
Alexi Lalas last night after the loss in the group stage of the 2024 Copa America tournament for the U.S. men's national team. They finished with just 3 points in the group and are eliminated at Arrowhead Stadium last night. This is 9 to noon here on the game. And John, I love the take by Lalas. I don't know enough about the lack of opportunities like he was talking about earlier to go play overseas for a number of years, right? I don't necessarily know where the development changed, but I do know growing up in this generation that it was regarded that our generation was going to be a different level of men's national team players, and clearly not. However, I don't know exactly where that falls in. It seems like, as you mentioned on the other side, he wanted to say that they need to have a change. He leaned in on saying fans could absolutely have the knives out for a change in head coach, but I'll leave that up to somebody else. I just don't know how much that changes unless the players are changing. And he was making it sound like the attitude, the mentality, maybe the competitiveness isn't exactly what you need.
Yeah. Berhalter is he's a polarizing name in the soccer community. People that truly follow the U.S. men's team, and they don't like him. They don't like what he does. They don't like his rotations. They don't like his substitutions. They don't like how he handles pressure. And it's not just Alexi Lalas. It's a lot of people that are in this spot of analyzing the men's game. And I'm going to take it from them because I don't know the rotations. Mm-hmm. I don't know the substitutions, but those are two of the big things that they have a problem with. But I do know when all the analysts, including Alexi Lalas, talks about these players are better players than what America or the United States has ever had. But this team is not better than what we've ever had. That has to go to one place and one place only. The maestro who takes all the people, the violinists, the trumpeters, the pianists, and put them all together makes this give me some more, Armin. Give me some more.
The bassoon.
There you go.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about.
The cello, the harp, the flute,
Secordis, or whoever it is.
The harpsichord, yes.
All this stuff. You got to have somebody who can put it all together and make it work, and that's what you don't really have in the U.S. men's soccer.
Yeah, I also know it. Listen, and I also know it's easy in any sport to right away, if you're losing, you blame coaching, right? But I also know that to me, like in soccer, from what there's 3 subs. You can only call. There's 11 guys in the field.
Only so much you can probably do.
You train a different way. You train a certain. There's limited things you can do. I think in coaching. I think a lot of it is how you put the team together and how they grow as a unit over time. So it's probably frustrating when you think the chemistry is great in your team and you think you have talent, but for some reason it's not performing on the field. Well, maybe we're just not good enough. Maybe we're not scoring enough goals. Is it just that we're more talented than we think? That's possible too.
Do we think we're better than we are?
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, right.
Probably.
Could be.
It could be one of those. We don't have the hunger or the thirst that some of these other countries do.
Yeah.
Because again, soccer in other countries is their football. Soccer in other countries is their basketball. The number one athlete in the majority of countries around the world is a soccer player. It's not the case here. Do we have the same thirst? Do we have the same desire? Do we have the same want to that these other countries do? I don't think we do.
Yeah, I don't think so
And
either.
we are supreme athletes that, and these are phenomenal athletes that are incredibly talented at what they do. But I think overall, as a country, we don't have that that desire to want to be able to do this because, quite frankly, the whole country doesn't necessarily rally around it. Now, I watched it last night, and you watched it last night, and we had some fun doing it. Did you watch the first match of the three?
No. Bolivia? Oh, no, you mean talk about for the U.S.?
Yeah.
No, I just knew we were supposed to win, and I waited for the score. I admit. I didn't. I didn't. I watched Panama because I knew that was.
And that's my point. Did you hear from the female golfer last week who said going into Thursday's round, and her and another female, they were in the European Open. They finished tied for first after the first round, and they asked her about what it was like playing on Thursday versus the practice round. She goes, I didn't get to practice because on Tuesday we decided to go to a pub and watch England's match.
Because they wouldn't miss that.
They weren't gonna. They missed their practice round for a golf event. Their actual work, their actual profession.
Perfectly
they
said.
missed their job. They missed preparation for their tournament in order to go watch their national team, their men's national team, play a match in the Euros.
Yeah, that's their number one priority. Whereas I think I was probably watching the Brewers game because your priorities are different. My priorities Brewers first. I mean, it is a lot of the time.
Oh, 100%. It was last night.
If those two teams are playing, I knew this was an important game, so I'm trying to switch back and forth. Of course, we were down, so I watched a chunk of it. But that's just the way it is. But you're right, John. In England, a place like that, there's one priority. And it's the soccer.
And my brother-in-law played soccer in college. Lindsay played soccer in college.
Yeah.
They love soccer. They love it. I picked him up at the airport last night. We watched the end of this thing, and he said, "Yeah, we got to get rid of the coach." He's not even burning down a bridge. He's just saying it calmly, right? Could you imagine this happening in England, France?
Oh, it'd be all over
Spain?
the place. Yeah. Instead, people are going to potentially
watch cars flipped over top.
Instead, people are potentially going to watch a Hard Knocks about an off season tonight instead of, focusing more on the frustrations that they had from last night.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to watch potentially guys talk about maybe we should sign this free agent in the NFL. And that is a definite difference in the points of emphasis.
Yeah. In England, it's like the manager's a plunker. Get him out of here. The plunker.
Get this wank out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
414-799-1973. Nobody has ever said that about Mike Heller. People just wish that he comes back. I don't know. Do they welcome Mike Heller back at American Family Field here again today?
Yeah, I think so. You don't think they would?
I've just asked the question.
Well, it's
just asked the question. We'll ask him in about 20 minutes when we hand it off to him. It's 9 to noon. We round third, head for home right after this. 9 to noon on the game. How about this? How you guys feel about the alliance that the Milwaukee Brewers and Cleveland Guardians have formed online? All-star balloting in phase 2. There's apparently now multiple phases of all-star balloting in MLB. Yeah, John, I don't know. Like, I don't know who's asking.
Do we need mid-markets unite? Is that what we're doing here?
That's what it is.
We're unionizing.
Are we trying to put together our power balance bracelets, and increase our powers here somehow? Hey, listen, Brewers, we'll vote for Indians, and Indians, you vote for Brewers, and we'll do our damnedest to push some extra players in.
It's like when your one buddy would go to bat and everybody would give him their fighting necklace, just because then your balance is going to be off the absolute chain when you get up there with 7 of them things. You're unbeaten.
It's a weird feeling though, right? It's a weird feeling. The whole campaigning for Pro Bowl votes, that thing started when I was playing. That was
and now it's just gotten big business.
Because you believe it should be based on merit, right? And not like popularity. Is that what the idea was, or no?
I've always been a firm believer that you don't talk about your own game. You let other people talk about it.
Sure.
Always. To some extent things have changed, right? With $50 million contracts, you got to campaign. You got to be out on that trail. You got to be building your own resume. And a lot of that has to putting the good word out there. And I understand it's a necessary evil. And I understand you're playing to a lot of egos in sports, college sports now, just as much as professional sports. And because of that, I get it, but it doesn't sit.
Well, we got William Contreras and Christian Yelich on the ballot for the Milwaukee Brewers. Jose Ramirez is sitting there, as well as Steven Kwan. I voted for the Guardians. I voted for the Crew. Christian Yelich trying to start the All-Star game again. Well, I mean, just think about that as where he was 2 years ago.
That's a comeback. That is fully comeback. And I'd like to. This I think is fun. This I think is cool, and this is orchestrated by the teams. This isn't
by the teams. So because I'm with you. I'm with you on that.
A huge difference in distinction there.
Because I'm with you on that. Like, even I'll stand up for the big guys, but when Elton Jenkins is doing hashtag Pro Bowl vote, I'm like, come on, guys, what are we doing here?
Well, they're told to do it, and I get that.
Yeah, right? Let's let everyone else do it. But no, I agree, because the teams have to cape up. The teams got to. But for the Brewers, both of these dudes deserve it. And William Contreras would be the first guy since Ted Simmons, I believe, at the catcher position for the Brewers to be voted in to start the All-Star game. Luke Roy ended up starting one, but he was an alternate. Just seems like I enjoy the little alliance, but I also enjoy the different videos that the two teams are putting out as to how the two teams have obviously been intertwined.
Yeah, separate we are vulnerable, but together we're like stronger. Is that the idea?
Well, no, yeah, but
West must unite. You know what I'm saying?
Together. Hey, man, we got to get an Infinity Stone. We got to.
I don't mind that, right? It's kind of fun, I do.
But you have to go out there and you have to find that perfect match for you, right? Like you don't want to pick. I mean, you don't want to go to the American League and pick, the Tampa Bay Rays because their fans might not show up for you. They might not show up.
Because they don't show up for their own team.
That's my point.
Yeah, they don't show up for them.
You got to get a team who's in the opposite league, who is just as passionate, who has the same kind of heartbreak that you do.
Yes.
Right?
In a lot of ways, yes. In a lot of ways, they're our mirror. Cleveland is. I mean, they've always been that in sports. Heartbreak, but a Midwestern city.
So you mean to tell me our mirror is the mistake by the lake?
Except for our football history is much, much better because of what we do with the Packers, right? We don't have the Browns that have left, but in a lot of ways, we mirror each other. Small market with an OG fan base with like a lunch pail mentality, both Midwest, both on a Great Lake, both have been made fun of by outsiders. We date Cleveland in that way. We're dating each other.
And I absolutely agree with you, Armin, on that. It's so hard being a guy who spent a large portion of his life in Pennsylvania and called Cleveland the mistake by the way.
And just frying them. Yeah.
Well, it's similar.
Just dog them out.
Now, don't get me wrong.
Just dog them out.
Don't get me wrong. Like, we're better than Cleveland still. Don't get me wrong. But
they're our mirror, but they're not even close to being our equal. They're our mirror unequal. They are unequally mirrored.
We're still the better one in this relationship. Awesome. But we have to be paired up, then fine.
Why we got to be keeping score?
Well, I'm just saying, and
life is about keeping score.
Well, that's fair because a lot of people on the talk and text line, for our take of the day, saying we're doing this to our men's national team because of all these participation trophies and orange slices that everyone's handing out. I'd like to bring this up a lot of different times. The people that are complaining about that are the ones that are doing it.
Well, a lot of times, yeah, you don't realize it.
Has anybody noticed that?
It's one of those other parents do it, but
when other parents do it, but not me.
When it comes to my kid, I'm gonna make sure that everything's good. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, my kids aren't that way. Okay, but you just have kids in the same age bracket that you're griping about for that being the issue. Okay, I love that. I love that argument.
Is there something we said for that soccer is still a sport of privilege in America, whereas in other countries everybody plays it? It's accessible to everybody because everybody wants. I don't know. I mean, I think basketball is that sport in America in a lot of ways.
Yes, very much more.
Anybody, it's accessible to anybody. There's a public park and you have a ball.
You got to be privileged to be 7 foot tall. Is that what you're telling me?
I don't mean to be a great player or physically talented to go to the NBA. I mean, just to the accessibility to play at a youth level, right? There are across the world, there are youth kind of.
You're going to see more.
I may be wrong. I may be wrong about this because I've only been a father for going on 10 years. I may be wrong about this, but I believe this still in my heart. If you're good enough, they will find you.
They'll find you. Yeah.
You don't need
I believe that.
You don't need to go pay to play. If you are good enough, they will find you.
No, yes. I agree with you. I think the take from Armin is more like you're going to see more individual one kid shooting at a basketball hoop at the park for 4 hours working on his craft instead of one kid shooting a bunch of soccer balls at the net for 4 hours working on his craft.
Yeah, and if you have a special talent,
right, like the grinded out moment.
Well, and not at Rutgers Park or Rikers Park or whatever it's called. He's talking about in a gym that's air conditioning controlled and.
Oh, Hales Corners Park, man. We're working it on that blacktop. Those double rims.
I don't see kids at the parks ever anymore.
Dude, they're playing shirts and skins every day. It is very good to see.
Can we go down there and get in the game?
Sorry, that was creepy.
I'll get in the game. I'll get in a shirts and skins game.
Yeah, so will I.
You're always wearing the shirt.
He's got a sweater on at all times. They will wonder why he can't take his shirt off. But I will go shirts and skins with you on right down there.
I love the play.
Hales Corners Park.
Hales Corner Park. We are getting a game very soon.
I can't wait, dude. I cannot wait. Blacktop.
Adam Sandler still plays like every weekend in New York.
I gotta play some ball with some kids, man. I gotta get back to my roots. Do this thing old school.
We got to 414-799-1973. You guys were awesome today. Awesome today on the NickLayLaw.com talking text line. That's our Quick Trip take of the day. Brought to you by Quick Trip. Need something for dinner tonight? Don't cook. Stop by your local Quick Trip. Pick up a freshly prepared, absolutely delicious take-home meal. You might even find. You also might find John Kuhn, Billy Schmid, Armin Sarian, because we go to Quick Trip. Because Quick Trip's the place to go. Like, I'm sorry, but it is the place to go if you need anything. You're going on a road trip this weekend? I already was told. Quick Trip breakfast tomorrow on the road. Let's ride. That sounds like a winner. For John Kuhn, Armin Sarian, I'm Billy Schmid. It's been 9 to noon. Try to be better tomorrow. Mike Heller Show's next on the game.